Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another top night with Octane Online Racing, and proudly brought to you tonight by Thermaltake, one of our favourite premium PC hardware and sim racing manufacturers out there on the market. We are live now trackside for what promises to be an absolute cracker of a race. Multi-class racing is up there with the best, and this tonight features the brilliant yet bouncy GT4s and the somewhat happy-tailed Porsche Cup cars. The first event of this series is never going to be short on drama, and tonight we're expecting the full spectrum of multi-class racing. Expect some unexpected mistakes, heroic overtakes, and some heart and mouth moments as we tight turn and weave through the tracks of Brands Hatch, one of the most traditionalist motorsport tracks out there on this game, ACC. We've got two distinct beasts on track, the planted, confidence-inspiring GT4s and the razor-sharp, but no TC Porsche Cup cars. So expect some of those drivers to be skating on some real thin ice this evening. Expecting traffic to play a bit of a key role, but we'll talk about that as we get closer to the race and through qualifying. Welcome once again to your Thursday evening. I am Matt Madden, and here with me in the commentary box is my good friend and real-life racer and all-round man of the people, Dave Stevenson. Dave, how are we this evening?
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are live watching us on Octane Online Racing, and we'll skip the Octane while we're there. But no, mate, thank you for having me tonight, and yeah, super excited to watch some Brands Hatch multi-class racing. We can see that GT4s are out on track already doing their qualifying sessions, and they're only 8 minutes tonight, so only a couple laps to get a proper lap in. We're 27 cars deep, so I'm sure we'll see lots of overtakes and some lap traffic as they come through tonight. But no, again, super excited to see this next series start as Zach Jensen just goes fastest.
Absolutely. I think we saw some of this multi-class racing just recently ahead of our Zolder Enduro, which both, we had quite a few people that are driving tonight involved in that one as well. And I tell you what, multi-class racing was my first sort of exposure to Octane Online Racing for sure. And it definitely brings some of the most heart-in-mouth moments that I've experienced so far in my year of playing this and getting in and around sim racing. I think, Dave, as well, you were involved in a little way in the Trio series last year. You were definitely coaching some of us through it. What's your take on multi-class racing? Are you a fan of it? Do you prefer the single class and the more straightforward stuff? Where do you sit?
Multi-class all the way. I think that's the point. The more classes and more cars we can get on the field at the same time, I think it creates just the right amount of spicy to make sure we enjoy our. Although it's only 45 minutes tonight, but I think trios last year was hour plus races. So, and that was 3 classes of field on the track at the same time, but. Mate, multi-class racing is fantastic. Yes, we get locked in with our sprint series, and we get locked in with our academy series and our enduros, but the great community events that Octane put on for us when it comes to multi-class, I think a lot of people get around it.
Absolutely, and we're seeing some fast laps coming in early in the GT4s nonetheless as well, with the 130.9 from Richucci, I think that was. What a heavy lap early. So we're going to see some decent times here, but what I'm really interested to see, Davo, is just how big a gap we actually form between those Porsche Cup cars and the GT4s early on. I think we're sort of been doing some predictions in the background, and it is looking like the Porsche Cup cars will catch up to the GT4s, kicking around that 10 to 12 lap mark, which is when we're going to start to see the traffic drama playing in there in full.
And that's only not even halfway through the race. So we could potentially be seeing multiple laps of the leaders coming through the back markers of GT4s. And as we see Mr. Hill go off the track, have a second last turn there. And it's exactly what we're going to try and do around Brands Hatch. The cars are always flowing and on edge around here. The long sweeping turns that we seem to have, they're pushing the limits, and we might see some incidents and some spin outs, and that might cause a little bit more traffic as the night goes on. But it's looking very close here at the front, less than a second covering the top 4 as more and more laps come through. We're 3/10 up here with Mr. Baker. See where that puts him after this lap. Does he gain a spot? Yes, 1 spot up to 5th. But mate, just the Gianetta, just so fast in a straight line, and there's no straight lines at Brands Hatch. Every single straight has a damn curve in it. So, mate, that's exactly what is not great about the Gianetta.
We only got a few people in the Janetta as well. We've got Rick Lane, Baker, and Zach Jensen as well. So I can't expect too much out of those guys early on, especially fighting traffic with very, very little control over the car there compared to some of the other more stable and more agile GT4s. But definitely on that back straight and on the main straight there as well, we expect them to make a few overtaking moves using that raw power there as well.
The one that I want to be interested in is, are there any Alpines out there? I know last season you drove the GT4 Alpine, and one of only one or was it 1 or 2, or you're the only person driving that car last year, and it might not even get an appearance tonight.
I think I saw that Scani was actually the only other person mental enough to put themselves in that Alpine last season. I tell you what, through the corners, it's quite unmatched. It's super agile, bounces off any curbs that you throw at it and just chews through them. But man, it is so lackluster on the straights. I was screaming around some of the tracks, particularly some of the tighter ones, like Zolder as well, where you're bouncing through corners and you're catching up to all the cars, and as you get to that main straight, you wave them goodbye as they put 1 to 2 to sometimes 3 tenths on you there as well. So not the most forgiving car on these longer tracks where you've got that, like particularly Brands Hatch, where you've got that big main straight and the back straight there as well. But I'll tell you what, go ahead.
3, I think we've got, just finishing off some GT4 qualifying, we've got, I think, the 3 cars remaining. Let's see if there's any change in the top 3 just here. There's not much improvement here for Griffiths, but I think we're coming to a close, and if we can get to Rashidi quickly before the Porsche guys come through, we might actually get to see a bit of a top 10. There you go. Rashidi, Rondinella, Hill, Jensen, Baker. There we go. There's our top 4 before Porsche got in the way. But, as we roll through 7 minutes as the Porsches come out onto the track, and these guys were putting down some very fast laps in practice, and surprisingly, Mr. Keys wasn't fastest. So, I think Mr. Mind Punt himself, he might have a couple of bit of competition tonight. I know in the chat, shout out to YouTube chat, love you guys. Keep an eye out on anything we might have missed. But Mr. JC is going to be starting from the rear, so that's going to keep his night nice and interesting. And I knew last year that he started from the rear in the GT4s as well, but seeing him out there in qualifying, looks like he's going to be going from the go.
Yeah, no reverse grids like there were in the GT4 series last season, so we're expecting those fastest to really try and lay it down and get up front early and get away from the, let's be nice and we'll call it clutter. Perhaps some incidents there as well. As we're just in the car of Keys now, we're watching the finest example of what it's like to drive a Porsche Cup car, which is basically just dancing around with your hands there. And
Speedway.
Look at that. I'll tell you what, so I actually jumped in and drove one of these this afternoon because I hadn't sat in this car before, and my goodness, so first things first, it teaches you a hell of a lot about throttle control. Second thing, it also teaches you a lot about just how hard you can push the car. The Porsche seems to like doing what it wants to do, but as soon as you tell it to do something it's not prepared to, it's just going to chew you up and spit you out, or put you straight into a wall, was pretty much my experience.
Far he spent more time off track than on at the moment. This is getting ridiculous. He's got the wet weather tyres on and just gone, you know what, I'm going to spend more time in the dirt and use all the grip it can do. It was crazy.
But it was a lot of fun to drive, and I had a go at a couple of laps there just driving. I think Loopty was on the track at the time, and watching how the pros handle it. I think these are actually, they're a lot of fun. There we go, the fastest lap for Lucas Keys at the moment, 126.0. We have a 126 flat coming into qualifying here. I think that will be tough to beat. I don't know if we're going to see anyone break into the 125s. But what was impressive was how far he was off the track there, yet still able to keep it valid. We have some pretty lenient track limits here at good old Brands Hatch.
Love these guys, the Fruit Bowl boys, as we are now calling them all. And you'll see, I think it's upwards of 3 to 4 of these type of cars. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on the numbers and the names more than the car design with these guys. There you go, 125.8. Class. Another football boy. There it is again. See, they're all over the place. And,
Put a challenge out there and it will be met. 125.8. So there's still some more time. He's already 3/10 up, I think, almost, as he comes around the first turn. Who have we got here? We've got Miller as well. I was watching Miller put down some laps earlier today. Miller's already 3/10 up. Coming up underneath the GT sign there.
I think everyone's just improving. As these laps roll down, I think, the tyres are starting to come into a bit of a window. And with 3.5 minutes to go, they'll just be trying to keep eking that time down. I think still be coming closer to that 125.8 mark.
As he does. There we go. 125.5 for Lucas Keys. The man himself doesn't stop for anyone.
Jack Miller, pink and blue, favourite colours. Let's get all behind Mr. Jackie, because I love this colour scheme. It's one of my favourites. I run it on my go-karts every single weekend for the race team, and so any time that a driver pulls out a pink and blue livery, automatically goes to #1 in my book. And it's currently P3. Can he jump up? No, I think there should be a gap there at the moment, but now he closes in 4/10. If you can get another 4/10, you can get on the front row there.
Yep, 2 to
Johnson,
3 laps.
can you reply to the 125.8? Or can you?
He's almost 0.3 up.
Oh!
125.6. He's only just
hundredths. Should have got some slipstream.
Where's the toe? As we watch here, secondly, up. He's 0.26 up. Would be good enough to throw him above Muller there. Sean Muller's
with a boat
5
on,
seconds
with
on
a
the
bounce
lead.
on.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
tell you what, the Porsche bounce, I really experienced that a bit this afternoon. It was still valid. That's insane. The track is so wide.
That track needs to get rescanned. There's no way that this track limits is working.
It's a bit like an old road with
down the straight though.
Yeah, look at that. There we go. He's still making improvements. 125.4. Feels ridiculous that I put 125 out there as the number to achieve. Now we're halfway down it.
Come on, football boys. This is what we need. We need some more football. I know JC's running in a football car as well. Yes, just send it.
Send it straight over the corner. Cop the
more
Porsche
green.
down.
Less black, more green.
World's most expensive lawnmower, mate, these things.
Wait, they do look good. They look so much fun to drive.
And I'll tell you what.
Time we spend in the Academy Series doing GT3s, and a bit spoiled for the amount of aero that they have. Watching these really makes me want to go and drive one and just make this series. But I'm lucky enough to be sitting in commentary box tonight with you, so I'll sit back and watch the entertainment.
That's which you're seeing here as we go to the lefty righty loosey on the hands. As you'll see here, we're coming around here in second. We may look for an early shift just to get that grip down. No, braves it in second. These things as well, having driven the Aston for the last little while myself as a main, watching these things rev out, hitting redline at about 8.5, 8.6. It is a ridiculously revvy car. Also sounds absolutely fantastic too. I thought the Aston sounded good, but holy moly, this is great.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking with JC before the Zolder 8 hour, they had the community event where we had the multi-class, and I think everyone in chat was almost unanimous. There was a couple of others that weren't enjoying the sound a little bit, but these do sound incredible. Piccolini improving. Can he get through the last turn and improve? It's only 3/10 to McDowell, so hopefully he can get in the top 3 rows.
Up second as he comes up to the finish line.
There we go, P5. Very well done. Now, these guys have got 1 lap to go, so see if anyone can improve in this last lap before the race starts. But I suppose, Matty, I wanted to chat to you a little bit about Brands Hatch itself, just with its unique, turn 1 and turn 2 of this start. Now, what are you looking for as a commentator? I'm obviously looking for a little bit of chaos, some dive bombs, and seeing if we can get some 3 wides. But what are you looking for?
Absolutely. I'm looking for grip out here mostly. One of the most impressive things about this track is how many on-camber and off-camber corners there are. And as a bit more of an amateur driver myself, I'm quite often finding myself just looking for any piece of attachment to the road, any kind of grip that I can get where I can get it. But I think, look, personally, and this is, I won't go as far to call Brands Hatch goated. I don't think it sits quite up there for many people, but this is one of my favourite tracks that I've ever driven, no matter what the game. I just think it's so fun and fast and it has a really nice flow to it. The first sector is so structured. There we go, 125.3. Lucas Keys, you're taking the mickey now. And into the wall he goes. Luckily, we don't have expensive repair costs on these cars. But no, I
was going to say, like, this does bring me back, the Codemasters British Touring Car Championship days. The old Volvos and Seats. I was happy to drive around here as a child on, the old PC games. Using the WASD and the spacebar for a handbrake. But it does bring back a lot of memories. But it was always the short track, and I think the long track and long version actually provides a lot better racing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still a fast, flowy track, but I think Sector 3 is probably my favorite part of the track. It's so fast and you're always on the edge. There's not a lot of track width to work with, but you can really throw the car around some of these corners, particularly this Porsche Cup, which is, power over precision, I think, at the end of the day. We get ready. We've got 3 minutes to the start of the race, Davo. We don't want to commentators curse this, so I'm not going to ask you what you think happens turn 1, but what are you looking for out of these guys up the front? Are you thinking that they'll pull away from that pack, particularly the Keys and Johnson pairing up the front there, or do you think that the rest of the pack will actually manage to sort of draft off them and keep in tight?
Just how twisty and turny this first sector is, I'm really just hoping that we get a little bit of space for everyone. I think it's the first round. We might be a little bit nervous and want to try and get our championships off in the right foot, but I think sometimes just a big deep breath and get through this first sector is probably going to do a lot of people a lot of good. With the full roll-up lap and those sort of things, hopefully everyone gets their tyres nice and warm and ready to go. No tyre blankets, and they're going to be icy cold to start with. We're really making sure that, hopefully we just get through a nice clean first lap, and then, let's go racing from there. Obviously, I never want anyone's race to be finished first lap, and, we all sit there and have a bit of a giggle when someone gets absolutely murdered, but, I think I'd rather have everyone finish the first lap and then we go racing from there.
Absolutely. We're seeing some gorgeous liveries here as well. Some, I think, in game ones, but a lot of custom ones. I think I've counted 2 or 3 Fruit Bowl liveries so far. Definitely 3, actually. Sorry, that is. It's good to see the big crew out in force as we just go past the Hermes and Adidas car there, number 24. We've got something vaguely reminiscent of Martini Racing there on the left-hand side.
Martini, yep.
Yeah, it's gorgeous colours. I have actually become a bit of a fan of the custom livery myself over this last little while. So it, some of the designs that you see out there are actually so impressive, and it takes a lot of effort to put these together, in whether you're using Blender or Photoshop. So I think to all of the custom livery designers out there that are way better than me, kudos to you, and thank you for making this game look so damn good all the time.
Shout out to number 7 there in the black Porsche, Mr. Tio. We raced him on Tuesday night in the B split of Academy and was absolutely lightning. Put it on us by more than 5 seconds and just drove away from us. So new member to OOR. So hopefully he gets put up out of Academy really soon, because I don't want to be racing him much longer. But coming back into the GT4 field, and I 100% agree with you, mate. Custom liveries. I've been watching all the livery bot and the livery display port in the Discord, popping off, and everyone's showing off their new liveries, and look at that, that's absolutely fantastic.
That's actually so gorgeous. I wonder if that's on one for the kids at home, maybe. Cutesy animals on the side of that.
I've been loving it. I think everyone's been getting around it, with the Thermaltake series, and seeing the Thermaltake on the wing, and I think everyone's kind of taken a little bit more pride in what they want to do with their cars this season, and I think it's just absolutely amazing. I'm lucky that you, Matthew, make my livery, so I don't do much. I just literally upload it to the server and off I go. But we definitely appreciate anyone that's designing custom liveries or putting the time into their own stuff.
And we're all pretty blessed to have that Thermaltake gorgeous little rainbow number there that we can put on the wing. I'm actually a big fan of that. It sticks on so nicely as we get away for our formation lap here. Big full formation lap. We're going to see some swerving. I do have it on good authority that the swerving actually doesn't do anything to warm up your tyres the way that this game is coded and built. But I'll tell you what, it still looks good just watching the cars swerve there. It almost makes me sit back and think I'm watching any other old GT3, GT4 race in this multi-class series.
I think the swerve just gets you ready for racing, I think, JC used to tell us when we were getting ready for our Academy Enduro that, just ride the brake, get the tyres warm, use the brakes to warm everything up. But I think, just give me a bit of a swerve, gets the jitter out of your system.
As we see Jack Miller nightmaretyremanagement.com racing team. I do quite like that. Be interesting to see if his rear tyres get a little bit red hot through this race as he deals with the lackluster rear end of the Porsche. But yeah, maybe that swerving is less about the wheels and more about the hands, mate. I'm sure everyone's out there on a freezing cold winter evening. I've definitely got my hands in my pockets trying to keep myself warm and awake here. But you know, it's such a funny dynamic sim racing in winter. You know, you're stuck in your home office or your garage or wherever the hell your rig is. But one of the most amusing things that you start the race there with you know, jumpers and trackies and sometimes even a beanie on. I think you've done a couple of times there, Davo, but you finish the end with the little bead of sweat running down your forehead just trying to survive. So such a funny dynamic racing these you know, on these sim rigs all through winter.
And as we come to double file, yes, I am one of those maniacs where my rig is out in the garage, but they're currently still got some uglies and a beanie on, so I'm definitely not sweating tonight. But I'm actually sweating for this race. I'm so excited to get this GT4 Porsche Cup Series off and racing, and I'll leave it over to you.
Sure, as we come around Leroy's into Clark Curve here, starting to build the anticipation for that race start. I think we're going to see a fair bit of action off this first starting line moment. As we come up, we are approaching the green as we stand in wait. Watching the cars all nice and tight formation with the GT4s just a little way back, actually, a little bit further than what I thought they'd be. As we go green, coming into the first turn here, down Paddock Hill. Everything looks okay so far. We've already lost the marker on the right-hand side. The GT4's following in fast pursuit there. Nice, look at that. A little bit of rubbing is racing back there, but that's all part of it when you're in those GT4 cars. We've got the Porsche Cup cars now streaming ahead. Lucas Keys taking a really nice line through there, using all of that AstroTurf there on the right-hand side of, I believe that's Graham's Hill. As we come up into the Graham's Hill into Cooper Straight, starting to bunch up a little bit in the field here, which is nice. We like that. No one's sliding out. No one's looking too angry here. It's a nice controlled racing off the start, which is exactly what we wanted to see, mate. It's always good when we can predict it.
I love when you can look at the track map, no yellow flags, and one giant worm of green and blue just means everyone's having a great start. I think there might have been a tiny little bit of contact in the Porsche Cups around turn 2 there. That's why I think there's a little bit of a gap, and they've kind of backed up a bit to the leaders of the GT4s. But, you know, again, great start by everyone, nice and clean. You know, obviously no one's kind of lost any major spaces, and I think it's going to hopefully stretch out, and we'll start seeing some really nice battles with some tight, close racing.
Sure, as we see Jason Teo there, actually keeping pace there really nicely, middle of the pack. This is our Academy man. We've just had the first lap down for Lucas Keys, crossing the line with a 1:28, which is not bad off the start there. Jamie Conboy from the only coconut racing team from Fruit Bowl tonight. Now, this is our man. We have a massive soft spot for JC. He's helped us out a lot with our development in OOR. And man, can he drive. Watching him last night in the Sprint Series was an absolute pleasure. I think he had a little bit of error with the strategy in the end, but really, really a nice finish there as he just goes screaming down through. And we watched that happy tail on the oversteer on exit there.
Another famous pundit that loves a tail wag. I was listening to the guys last night in the Sprint Series in their commentary, and yet the first thing they said about JC is likes to drive the car sideways more than forward. So I think we can see that evidently in the Porsche Cup car as well. I'm not sure if he's lost a few spots, but I thought he might have started a little bit higher than that, but down in 11th. And Ronzanello, is he's going to be the leader of GT4s? No, he's about 3rd or 4th in GT4s at the moment. But hopefully have a nice clean start. And just love how nice and close these GT4s are already. You know, there's so many different makes and models, and yet some are going to have strong points and weak points, but you get to a track like Brands Hatch and everyone's done a lot of laps, we get a nice close racing. And the little Porsche there just looks so small compared to any other car.
Peter Brothers with Lucas Keys showing at a 1:25.7 in race pace. This is unbelievable. Yeah, Lupti here in the little Porsche. I quite like the fact that he's, you know, it's almost like bringing a Porsche to a Porsche fight in a sense. You've brought the little Porsche along for the big boy race. So I'm really glad that we get to see, I think there's 2 or 3 of them out there tonight actually, which is excellent. Following Lupti around, I'll tell you what.
Points.
God, I like that. Tell you what, he had an excellent performance last night in the Sprint Series as well. really cool with the number 888 there, which holds for many Aussies here. Really close spot in our heart there for any Lounsey fans out there. Well, we've got a replay of the start here. I think we had a little bit of rubbing as racing, as our friend JC would like to call it. Oh, sweet time. Crack. Oh, I think everybody has just managed to avoid the wall there as the blue Porsche Cup car. That makes sense because we saw him midway in the pack there between some GT4.
Yep, the fake Martini car absolutely forgot where the brake marker was and just sent it straight up the inside. We'll have to find out who that was in a second and give him a bit of a shout out. But yeah, definitely, you know, rather than causing a giant spin and maybe was the best course of action, and just unluckily got caught our blue Porsche in the crossfire.
Manslaughter as opposed to murder. I think he gets away with that one. As we watch some healthy sliding there from Lukey, almost sideways around the turn, and it takes me back to what you were saying just then about JC's preferred style of driving. When I heard that last night, it made a hell of a lot more sense because all the setups you send me, I'm almost driving out my side windows.
On board here.
Replay.
Oh no.
Some happy wags, and then we're off. There we go. That is the Ginetta, I believe. It's a slippery car in the best of times, but yeah, if you're dipping two wheels in the sand, you're never going to come out of that on top.
The follow the leader a bit there. I think the car in front was a little wide, and the Ginetta just went a little bit deeper and went, oh, I'm even going wider again.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I think that Mr. Convoy's made a pass for P10 and is about to throw it all away by going right the way around the outside. This is not NASCAR, mate. We've got to hit our apexes. But hold it together, and I think we're going to put a slipstream here. No, I think Mr. Oliver might sit behind there. There we go. Do we get a crisscross action, or we just go around the outside?
Oh, there we go. That happy wagging tail that we talked about, mate. We knew that was going to come into play.
Smoother on the throttle.
In my drive this afternoon, that was one of the hardest turns to actually blend with that off-camber approach. And we've got Patrick Johnson here, already 2.5 seconds behind the leader of Lucas Keys. You've got to be working hard to try and keep pace with Lucas and catch him at any stage of this race, particularly with no pit stop tonight as well.
It's already 46 minutes into this race. I think the plan for Patrick's just going to be stay as close as we can, and hopefully we can get a bit of a fight when we get that traffic. And hopefully if it's a bit close together with that GT4 traffic, that the gap can close up and maybe we can take a little bit of advantage of an overlap at some point. There you go, Stefan getting a 15-second penalty for causing collision on lap 1. Yeah, definitely that's going to be for our turn 2 incident. But yeah, I think 15 seconds is probably the lesser of two evils. Could have had 2 wrecked race cars, bit of RTG, and night done. But I think that might have been the lesser of 2 evils. We might have a pass here up for turn 2. No, good cover there by Griffiths.
We did say, we were chatting earlier with our man who's monitoring all of the stream tonight and bringing this to you, our man Benny Hickman. What a legend for the content that he's bringing you tonight. We had a little bit of a giggle with Ben before, just talking about that McLaren. It does look kind of like, I think Ben called it the, when mum says we've got a McLaren at home and you come home and you find this little go-kart thing designed for 10-year-olds. It is a really funny, squashed-looking little thing. Definitely a McLaren, but not the one that we might have pictured or wanted.
Definitely seen a few 3-year-olds sitting out of the roof of one of them with an electric button. So, but definitely a cute little car. Yep. The no frills McLaren.
It's become almost 3 wide here with that Mercedes. Oh, and he cuts the corner, but he's staying in tight here as we've got the Porsche of Lukey going 2 wide with that Ginetta of Zach Jensen.
Oh.
And they hold it through.
Nose in hill. Get your nose in.
This is going to be very interesting as we come to Clark Curve here, up towards the main straight. And they're holding the Ginetta should have this. It should be a smooth sail for him into turn 1 with that power. But I'll tell you what, against all the odds, Lukey is holding on the outside, and he backs off there, giving a little bit of room. That's some really, really good racecraft there. Favouring instead, just holding on as he almost puts it in the dirt. Holy cow.
Ron Janella there in that little Porsche has just done half the lap side by side and now lost 2 positions. That's just brutal.
That is just brutal for someone who is absolutely leading the pack there. As we've got Hill in the number 14 Merc. The AMG just there as he just holds on, manages to take advantage of the move from Jensen there and put himself up in position.
Talk about driving the widest car on the road.
And the one with the longest nose as well, my goodness.
Well, it's a bit of unfair battle with the old, with Rondinello there in the tiniest little Porsche, and we've got a nice wide Mercedes in front of it.
Yeah, stick an Alpine in the middle of that and then tell me what we're doing size-wise. They look so comedic compared to their GT4 old brothers. So we come here,
Yes,
we're on board with Convoy, just challenging Tio here. Tio, again, once more, is our man from the Academy race the other night who commandingly won that race that we had at Paul Ricard. Just watch the track limits there, Jamie Convoy. Hunting apexes, but possibly going out pre-season.
So he's trying to do his out wide crisscross again, see if they're going to get on the throttle early, but didn't work this time with Mr. Tio. But yeah, again, he's just loving a nice wide entry, just diamonding off the corner, trying to get the highest top speed out of this Porsche Cup car that it can do. But I think it must have been a pretty quick catch-up, because I think there might have been a couple seconds behind there. So I think Jamie's going to be trying to work hard to get through and get back up to his starting position from where it should be. But Tio's putting up an absolutely fantastic battle, because he's no slouch by any means necessary. So I don't expect this to be very hard. Oh, as Jamie just sends it wide.
Stay on the track, JC! My goodness.
These guys have no idea what track limits are. And if these guys had to pay for their cars, oh my goodness, they'd be footing up a hefty bill.
That is why we sim race, my man. But this, tell you what, this makes me feel a heap better battling Teo the other night. Watching him hold off Jamie Convoy there is quite impressive, as we watched Rondinella almost push for a move down the inside, perhaps going for a Lucas Keys level mind punt there on Graham Hill, I believe. There we go. We Bear Bears. I love this livery. I'm actually a really big fan of it. I think your daughters would love this one too, Davo.
Definitely might have to show this on the iPhone background just to give them a bit of a sneak peek. It's a very cute car. Nice and cuddly teddy bears.
We see the big Thermaltake livery there. I believe for all you OOR racers out there is actually a specific Thermaltake code that you can go and use to purchase one of their systems, or perhaps purchase any one of their peripherals. We have some amazing prizes that they're actually giving out at the moment, including a full sort of sim setup where we've got direct drive base, wheel and pedals, all for the winners of each of the Sprint Series categories. So what an awesome partnership that we've got with them. And I think just such a strong partnership for where sim racing is going. Sim racing is the biggest it has ever been. Hell, the reason that it's getting bigger is how exactly you and I got into it. I think the likes of OOR have such an amazing community that's been built to actually support people jumping into the sport. And yeah, fantastic partnership there from Thermaltake. Thank you so much for making this series what it is now.
Thank you so much, guys. I think we also might be having, just looking at the track map, Mr. Lucas Keys coming up on the first back marker. Yes, it might be a solo, but we've got some action with the GT4s. Yeah, there you go. Just the GT4 the other way. That's a very nice overtake there from Lily. That's absolutely fantastic. Just give him plenty of space going. I'm running my own race, and I'm not going to ruin anybody else's.
I really think this GT4 battle for the front there is actually really going to give us a lot of entertainment tonight as we watch Damiano coming up more in the Relax More Cup racing. I don't think there's much relaxing going on. It looks pretty edgy as seat sort of stuff here. As we come up, he's tugging in. This is such a hard spot on the track to actually stay close and overtake, because it's very feelsy with the brake markers, and it's quite, you know, every driver, no matter their skill level, actually has quite different markers and different ways of taking those turns. It's one of the beauties of Brands Hatch. It's very much a choose your own adventure for some of these corners. So we watch Lupti just try and throw a little bit wide there. It's not exactly the best way to catch up and get around the pack there, but you know, you're dealing with a lot of pressure trying to keep up with all of these guys.
This battle's been going on for 4 or 5 laps, so I think it's going to either boil over or they're going to shake hands at the end of the race. Oh, I've got Gina very wide there. He'll kind of set it up the inside. No, we've got too wide. And see if this battle can continue up the next straight. Yeah, can we get some power down? No, the Gina just planting its foot and driving away from the Mercedes there. Hopefully that might bring back Rondinella after a big turn one, or last turn mistake, and we can get a 3-car battle going again, because it's been absolutely fantastic to watch.
We've actually got some really interesting comments coming through in the YouTube chat, so thanks all. We've actually just seen Nick Brown moving up into P6. Get in there, son, says David Marshy. how good as we watch some, some swapping positions up there as we get the Mercedes, the AMG of Graham Hill up there battling, pushing on that position. We're on board with Lucas Keys. Just noticed 500 fruit bowls. Do you reckon that's 500 fruit bowl races that we've seen come up for Mr. Keys there, Dado?
So how does that even get tracked, or is that just a... That'd be an interesting stat to find out. But yeah, 500 fruit bowls. Is that 500 fruit bowl wins? That would be absolutely mental. Oh!
Yeah, it is.
Gosh, the closing speed was huge.
Goodness gracious. If that was any tighter, you'd never get the lid off. Is a good way of putting that one.
As this battle just continues, get in there, Ronginello, mate. Yes. Oh no, don't throw it away again.
Loopty! Stay on the track, Loopty! Where are you going?
But he's working so hard. He keeps getting so close and just keeps throwing it away. Come on, mate. He's got the pace to get through these two. He's just trying so hard with that little Porsche to get past the Giannetta and the horsepower of the Mercedes as well. Mate, how great is this? This is such good. This is why we like multi-class racing. You know? Yep, cool. We've got the Porsches up front, and they provide a great entertainment with just the pure speed. But mate, having these GT4s on the track at the same time is just absolute gold.
We just had some clarification from Marshy. No, Marshy, I promise as well. We're not going to give the commentators curse. I think Brownard's here and here to stay. He's really pushing hard. It is. I've noticed that Delta slipping down as well as he catches. The car 944 there in fifth. We've also said so it might actually be 500 fruit bowls, individual fruit bowls on Lucas Keys' car there, Davo. That's I'm not going to challenge it, but I feel bad for whoever had to sit there and count just how many bloody fruit bowls were actually put on that livery.
Hey, talking about fruit bowls, what's the first fruit you want in your fruit bowl?
I'm a banana guy.
Yeah,
it's
terrible.
It's kind of polarizing, but it's a versatile one for me. I'm sort of right into the banana on my cereal. You can use it in smoothies. You can kind of throw it around and do a few things with it. Plus, it has its own packaging, which is probably one of my favorite things. You can throw it straight in the work bag and off I go, as long as it doesn't get too bruised. Can we get before I ask Dave what his favorite fruit bowl fruit is, we get some fruit preferences in the YouTube chat, please and thank you. We'll call them out. We won't abuse you if you have an obscure one. I think banana's probably going to be one of the worst. Davo, what's your go-to?
Mate, first fruit in a fruit bowl is always watermelon. Absolutely fantastic summer fruit, and it will always forever be. But we've got mandarins from Jen German in the chat. Yep, that's a great one. But are you going oranges over mandarins or mandarins over oranges?
I'm a mandarin guy myself, but quick question, how big is your fruit bowl if watermelon's a thing that's going in there?
Oh, it's cut up, mate, it's cut up. You've got to cut it up. You can't throw the whole thing in.
I don't know, you'll break the bloody bowl.
Fantastic. Shout out to Mr. Zach Jensen, because he's had Hill and it's Rondinella up his clacker for over 10 laps at the moment. And just holding it down. Might not have the greatest pace, but no mistakes. And that really sometimes sums up sim racing. I know. Big shout out to our man Ben Simpson in Academy Series. He's always our Mr. Consistent. Might not be the fastest man in the world, but no mistakes and always just keeps driving forward. Sometimes that's all you need.
Arguably and without a doubt, the consistency is so key in sim racing. Just being able to go out there and put down lap after lap after lap. That's what's earned our good mate Benny Simpson the title of hard charger in our small circle, as he usually ends up with the biggest position jump over any given race.
Also had a Convoy Teo change for position as well. He's gone up to P9, so I think as this race develops on, Jamie's only 1.8 seconds behind Bartoletti as well. We're interested to see how high he gets by the final laps. I'm going to go just with 27 minutes to go. Mr. Convoy is going to get to 6th. I'm saying 6th.
I like 6th.
I'm not going any more than that.
I like that as an approach. That's at least 6, 7. Okay, we've got at least 10 seconds for him to gain on the cars there to get firmly into 6th place. If we can get some opinions, I know we've got a lot of JC fanboys out there in the YouTube chat. So if you can tell us where you think JC is going to finish, and winner, if I ever meet you in person, I'll buy you a banana. Some different fruits coming in. Of course, Benny Higgins says the mandarins, thanks to Gingerman, as we've seen that come through. We've also got a kiwi fruit from Jan Tully. Jan, question, do you go for kiwi skin off or on? I'm an on guy myself, aware that makes me weird. Apparently I'm going to go...
Skin?
I'm eating the skin, man. Yeah, I know, I'm a broken dude. It's what? Hang on. We need to go back to the racing live as we see Graham Hill pushed wide out there, almost onto the dirt.
Oh, that's a gift for Rondinella.
A gift. We'll take that. We take the free ones as Rondinella takes the inside line, going up into the hairpin, and he holds on. That's where all the traction is. Graham Hill has no traction out there, and it's a miracle that he kept it on. He's just sitting, tucking in behind Rondinella as we go up into one of the first corners into the back straight.
Comes along these three battle. Going for what have we got? 8 to 10 laps already. We get a Porsche car come through and rule it all.
Flag. You know what? I'm manifest with what's going on. I'm just gonna let this happen.
They'll be like as 6 seconds until you wait to a long straight. But there's been more Porsche coming through GT4s. I love this. It's a nice Porsche.
Yeah, I think that one there is great. Going down the through it's get heavy and then get one another name down Dave. So we go more nails by the front to race settings. We'll move on to a different flashback. So
how about GT4s get through the guards?
I'd tell you it's a combination of the two things. From my understanding, there's better, I don't know the story up in the S side, I believe GT4s have a better ABS, so they're going to be more consistent, better under brakes, less squirrely. But without a doubt, it's going to be that application of power, mate. The GT3 Porsche Cup cars have way more power on the rear wheels, but they've also got no TC. So it's pretty scary when you put that right foot to the floor. You really have to ease it on, so any good GT4 driver is really going to give a bit of a run for the money of any Porsche Cup car driver's as we see that happy wagging tail of the Porsche Cup car as he's trying to find a way around the GT4 in front of him, looking for any way past here as the GT4, I believe that's a Ginetta, goes wide out onto the AstroTurf there. That's the Ginetta of Zach Jensen.
Yep.
Just holding off Loopty. Still is Loopty. Gets a little bit squirrely on that turn. Such a hard one to judge as well because the braking mark is not so clearly defined as you come up the hill there into or out of Cooper Straight and up onto McLaren, I believe that is. Through Surtees. I'm just looking at a track map alongside me. I'm probably getting it all wrong. Abuse me in the chat if I'm all over the shop and not doing the right things. But hey, let us know. We look at... we got Patrick Johnson just dropping back a little bit now, 8 seconds behind the leader, Luke Keys. Here we go, Nick Brown coming through. Position 7, he's dropped back just a little bit, but he's contending with some traffic in front of him. As he's going to find a bit of a hairy inside line here, just going around that McLaren. Little kid's car back there, but he takes it beautifully and manages to hold on. That's a sick livery too. I'm a big fan of what Brownman's driving there. Absolutely love the tessellation.
He must have dropped a spot because I knew Marshy was in chat, giving Nick a big ones up because he got to P6, but it's currently P7. Love to see if there's an opportunity to see where we lost that spot, but any racing's good racing, and there we go, Rondinella sideways again. This is what we're looking for, and Mr. Zach Jensen just not missing a beat, hitting his marks, driving around, and these three at the end of the night are not just. I just don't want to see each other. I'm thinking. They spent 45 minutes together. It's time to go to play a different game.
Like any significant purchase, mate, I think there'll be a cooling off period before we're back and interacting.
Oh,
these are really, really tight. It looked tighter from inside the car as we see there. Dylan McDowell taking the aggressive line to overtake that AMG, flying through there.
Mate, I love this, just taking the chances of, and filling the hole where it is. He's just I'm driving here, you can see what else you want to find out later. And just making his way through these GT4s as quickly as he possibly can and trying to make sure he stays in touch with Theccolini in P4 there.
Screaming past that BMW GT4. Quite different to the BMW M2, having driven both for a couple of races there. The M2, I tell you what, some of these curbs, BMW M2 is just an absolute monster and eats these curbs for breakfast, as some of these GT4s do as well, which is such a nice experience, having been a Ferrari main driver for so long, where essentially, you know, it's anaphylactic for those curves. It's absolutely allergic. It hits them and it just dies in the arse. You go flying everywhere and almost take off. It's a horrific experience for car and driver. Here, Luke D's actually kind of pushing now. He's really holding on quite well, fending off Graham Hill there. It's such a weird dynamic when you have to attack and defend at the same time. But it doesn't look like they're actually losing too much lap time, which speaks to just the pure talent and aggression of these drivers.
Get out of the way, everyone. My man Jack Miller's coming through in that lovely blue and pink livery. So get the flash on, mate. We need to get through because don't slow down. But no, you're exactly right. These sprint drivers, I do sit here in awe sometimes and just go, look, I'm not quite at this level, and I'd love to keep learning from these guys because it's absolutely fantastic to watch that they can just do so many laps so close together. Yep, sure, they all make their mistakes every now and again, but nothing too crazy, and they just seem to have a great time racing around each other.
The JC has just hit P8. We've just been informed by our man Marshy on the ground. The GOAT as well. I don't know if the GOAT is talking about Nick Brownett or JC. Oh no!
No!
It is. Oh no! We've
had a fruit bowler. We've had a fruit bowler.
We've had a fruit bowler. Uh-oh. We just get the replay here.
Oh no.
Oh, it's so easy to do that. Car 96, mate, to keep it away.
Hold the brakes, sir, as Hobbsy might say in the Academy Series. Hold the brakes.
Here now, Hobbsy's at home yelling at his TV and screen, hold your brakes! Staying well clear of the line.
There's Mr. Nate James.
Swinging around. It's Nate James. No!
Nate James.
Stay in it, Nate.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
That's another wall, mate! You gotta stay away! I can't watch the train wreck now.
Let's make sure we get back on nice and safely.
There we go.
All right.
Clean acceleration away.
We're away. Yep. Fantastic, Mr. Nate James.
Former Academy driver, now turned sprint driver. There's a wealth of pressure on Nate James, but I'll tell you what, irrespective, mate, he loves getting out there and he really puts his heart and soul into OOR as a whole, but also spends a heap of time practicing and training for these multi-class, sort of obscure series as we see
Zach's trying to cover off.
Oh, he's trying to cover Rondinella and let through a blue flag at the same time. There's no way this ends cleanly.
Oh my God.
I've just been informed as well.
Dylan throwing it again up the inside of a GT4, a high-speed turn.
Oh, high-speed turns. Oh, and we've got Rondinella off, bouncing on the grass. Now Graham Hill comes in for a sniff and he says, thank you, I'll take the freebie there. You've lost your speed and I'll take it.
Dylan's just gone, I'm going to affect everyone and put this battle pack back together. Now that Jensen's got about 6/10 of a lead up ahead. I hope Dylan makes sure Zach runs a little wide at turn 1, so this battle gets back together, and it looks like it's going to happen. I think Dylan must be nice and clear now. Yeah, the horsepower of that Porsche is getting clear. Awesome.
It's nice and tight there. Certainly going to need, if that could have gone in a number of different ways, and it almost went down the line of half a litre of super glue and a bit of sticky tape to try and put that battle back together. But thankfully Dylan makes it through. McDowell nice and clear there after a bit of a tantalising moment as we're just watching some replays on my other screen. It'll be coming to you live in just a moment as we see some more action out there as the blue flags and traffic start to rain and wreak havoc. As we see here, we've got oh no, this little baby McLaren has just been taken out. I think that might be Nate James again, causing just a little bit of havoc there. I couldn't quite see.
117 is the 117 of Mr. Jamie Conboy.
Oh no, Jamie Conboy, the only coconut. What are you doing, mate?
He has absolutely murdered the Hot Wheels McLaren.
All 000 there has been a homicide.
We've got some lovely battling here with some Porsches at the moment. Finally found each other again. And we have Padaletta with Conboy behind him after the note. He's probably going to have to try and make up some time here. I'm sure a penalty is going to be coming through in the next few laps with our stewards, but I wonder he's going, well, now it's time to make up an extra 15-second gap because I'm going to have a 15-second penalty come aboard. That's a great run onto the main straight from JC there. And we've gone 3 wide with a Beamer, by the way.
Oh my goodness. He's going to be placing pressure here the entire way up Bartoletti. But he doesn't
quite have the guts on him to get around the outside. Just kind of loses stamina as we've got another Porsche Cup car spun out here. Just going into Druids, the hairpin. It'll be interesting to have a look in a few and see actually just what's happened there. I didn't quite catch which Porsche Cup car it was. We're back on here, mate. The battle of the night that you and I have been keeping track of as we've got the, let's call it the Virgin Martini car coming up the inside there. The colours are a little bit more baby blue and
Faded.
baby pink.
Faded, yeah. It's been out in the sun for a bit too long. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
It's big exit wide. Yeah.
Oh no, that's Brownon. I promise,
Look
Marshy,
at
I haven't done that to him. I promise you, it's not me.
Mate, how good was the kangaroo hop halfway up the hill?
Porsche Pogo.
Mate, it didn't hit the ground for 45 metres.
Whoa! He's
Zachy.
the generator of Zach Jensen. Zachy boy, keep it on the track.
Let's try, mate. 15 minutes to go. They've got to keep it together.
We've got a pretty dispersed field now there. Multi-class racing is indeed the bee's knees, the duck's nuts, however you want to articulate it, Marshy. This is good stuff. This is good watching for your Thursday night. As we warm you up for the later Sprint Series event, I believe we've got Sprint 3 tonight. Is the sprint
red tonight.
Sprint red tonight. I'll get my colours right. One of the primaries there.
Hey, looking at the entry list for red tonight, they've tried to do a round 2 of the Porsche Cup Series. There's so many Porsches in it. They should be racing now, not tonight.
Got to be done, I think, with the nerf that's come the Mustang's way, which, mind you, from everything I've been seeing, hasn't really quite done enough, Luke, to keep it on the track.
Where's Hill?
Jaden Rondinella, he's everywhere.
Hill's done the same thing. Anything you can do, I can do better. Follow thy leader.
See, Mr. Zach Jensen, just finding those apexes all the time.
Just putting down those.
Hill's got to run. Hill's got to run.
Hill's got to run up the hill.
Does he go the inside? Nah.
Inside.
Rondinella deniably cover.
Excellent. Well done. Great defending there from Rondinella.
Oh, and we just caused him to go wide.
Can't say anything anymore.
These cars just don't turn.
And
They're just not turning.
keep it on. Keep it on the tarmac.
Jaden. Oh, mate. You've been so fast
as
all
we see
night.
two wheels in the air.
Damn it, lads. This is absolutely fantastic. Who wants Sprint Series racing when you've got GT4s on at 7:30 at night?
It's my ideal end to any good Thursday, mate. I'm glad that we've got a couple more weeks of this ahead of us.
Oh,
Mate,
Brownon had a hardware failure. I think he actually, did he have another one of those last night as well, Marshy? I think there's something going on there. 'Cause I vaguely remember seeing something go on during that sprint yellow last night.
As we clear your cash, mate. Need to clear your cash.
Jamie Conboy there, hard under brakes, taking the inside of the Druids hairpin, staying in nice and tight with those cars ahead of him, getting around the GT4 of Loopty there.
Oh, as we see Graham!
Graham Hill's been murdered. Oh, no.
Oh,
There we
he's
go.
swapped
We've
back.
got the green car back in front of the blue one again.
We're going back and
Rondinella.
forth, these two.
Told ya. These guys are just going to have the same battle and they're all going to get affected exactly the same way by these Porsche cars coming through. And in 13 minutes' time, they'll be nose to tail again.
Yep, absolutely, and we'll probably continue to trade and swap spin as we go on the track, on the track, on the track, off the track.
That was so
He is.
good. I wonder if Rondinella's going to make this turn again because he hasn't made it 2 laps in a row. Yeah, he's risking it for the biscuit.
He's risking it for the biscuit, but he's held it. He's got a bloody fast Porsche Cup car behind him, but he manages to hold it. The GT4s are so good through this back straight. Oh no, Loopty, keep it on the tarmac, brother.
12 minutes, lads. We need 12 minutes, everyone. We need a big deep breath and let's finish strong. I think we're going to have multiple cars coming through again. As oh my goodness! Oh no, Hill's got him.
Hill's got him. He's off. He's gone. He's spun around. My goodness, I couldn't tell what what Porsche Cup car that was. I don't think there was much that Graham could have done there. My goodness, we'll get a replay up of that just shortly. We can see Benny Hignett working his back magic in the background there. We'll get that for you just shortly as we watch. Loopty managed to keep it on the black stuff at the moment, which is excellent. It's a great start. Let's see if we can do that for a couple more turns as we got the replay here. We're on board with Graham Hill. He stays in. There's absolutely nowhere to go as we watch that Porsche Cup car with a mind of its own, mate. I tell you what, as soon as you put that right foot to the floor, there's nothing you can do about it if the car starts sliding out on you. You are a passenger.
That is just so unlucky. Just victim of circumstance right there. You know, the Porsche's pushing hard to get through the field, and obviously the GT4 is just making sure he's just trying to keep up as much speed as he can to try and catch back up to Ronginella there, as Lucas Keys just expertly ninja knives his way through the GT4 field.
Cutting through the pack like it's nothing. We've just been told as well by our good man in the chat, Marshy, we now know that we've had a hardware failure for Nick Brown there, which is absolutely no good. I think last night the throttle got stuck on, which is a nightmare, and tonight it just kept cutting in and out, which makes it all the more impressive that he was actually P6, I believe, at one stage. And he also had no TC, so that sort of gets stuck on. You are Walskies. Ben Oliver from Ollie Racing charging at the inside there, staying nice and close to Tio here, our boy from Academy Series, who don't think he'll be there for long given the pace that he's displaying there tonight.
Just doing a good job, you know. Ollie's yet probably getting some laps and becoming a bit stronger as the race rolls on, and then the tyres kind of wear off a little bit. But Tio just putting some solid laps in, no mistakes as we've seen, as we just absolutely curse him. But you know, that's exactly what he did on Tuesday night, and I think that's probably what the most impressive part was. You know, I was third behind Mr. Roy Ankin, and you know, we were trying hard, putting some consistent laps down, and he was always just forever 1 to 2 tenths faster than us, and no mistakes. Mr. Zach Baker hard up behind the McLaren of Mr. Shen, so they're battling for probably top 10 in their class, I would say.
Absolutely.
10 Porsche Cup cars or 10 or 11, so it's going to be top 10 in the GT4 field tonight, so that's going to be an absolutely fantastic result for these guys. So we know how crazy tonight's been, so I think sometimes you've just got to get away with a nice clean race.
Absolutely. As we've just seen, I've just been told that we've actually got Nick Brown in the YouTube chat. Nick, thanks for jumping in. So sorry to hear about the hardware issues, mate, but we can't agree with you more. OOR mixed class racing is the bee's knees, mate. This is as good as it gets. It's the most entertaining thing to watch. Jamie Conboy getting a 5-second penalty, which is a pretty light penalty, I think, for causing that minor incident, which resulted in a bit of a spin back there on lap 18.
Right, I think that's for the McLaren incident, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense there.
Mate, with who's that man that lost his pedals?
Nick Brown.
With Nick losing his pedals to and we're obviously predicting P6. Does that now automatically come to P5 because we've lost one? I think so.
I think so. So we've still got a bit of work to be done. Jamie Conboy actually sitting in more or less honorary 6 at the moment, with Baytold with a 15-second penalty ahead of him. So still some work to be done there to meet your prediction. We've got William Shen here in the gorgeous little go-kart McLaren. You see him just fending off Zach Baker. Oh, we've seen! That's too big a swerve, Zach. Where are you going? Where are you going? Goes around the outside, manages to hold it very impressive.
So lucky there's a bit of excess track there on the outside of turn 2. Otherwise, that could have been fenced very quickly.
You don't get to do that at Bathurst, that's for sure. So thank heavens for a bit of extra room here.
And that's obviously invited Mr. John Foster behind him in the green McLaren. Get in there, son. This is what we need. We've got another 3-car battle brewing.
John Foster, the honorary uncle of our good man Jake Foster. No actual relation, but I think there's a budding family relationship within OOR there. As we see here, we're just watching this replay. I think this is the swerve here from Zach Baker as he goes too wide. There's no TC in your car, sir. Stay on the track.
Look at the hand movements, just controlled it. He felt right at home out in the grass there. I think he felt that was going to improve his lap times.
Yeah, probably
John with a little look underneath.
Maybe he's also doing the OOR WRC Rally Championship, which is either started now already or starting very soon. So perhaps looking for those alternative lines off the track, mate. Looking to get a little bit friendly with minimal traction.
Yeah, I think a few of these guys have been practicing in the wrong game for this event tonight. But yeah, Zach Baker still just the meat in the sandwich of the 2 McLarens. Could not get further away from one, and he's just fast again up to turn 1. It just seems to be his spot where he just gains all the speed on these McLarens, but can't do anything with it.
And this is the problem about driving that Jetta. It's got very minimal levels of TC, ABS, and any kind of helpful support to get you around that track. Whereas the McLaren is very much a downforce-centric GT4 that's going to thrive in those tight corners of high-speed straights. So
it's got a decent run here. He's going to just getting closer. Yeah, he's in tight. I think this is going to be at least an overlap and an opportunity, but I think William's going to cover off a little bit. Great driving there for these lads. It's just still so close.
Goodness gracious, the talent of these drivers as they're keeping it this tight with just over 6 minutes to go in this race. Pressure building. He manages to keep it on, but Zach Baker's seen a line down the inside. He comes screaming in. The next one's a right-hander, and he gets in front, but he gets a little tap in the rear for his troubles. William Shan managing to hold on. Side by side, John Foster in the McLaren. This is racing.
This is fantastic.
This is
Who
fantastic.
wants GT3s when you've got this? This is absolutely fantastic. We want more people next week in the GT4 car. So if you have not signed up to this series already, get signing up online right now. Correct. And of course, we're just missing Zach Jensen. Where's Zach Jensen now? He's up the road. He's put a bit of time with these two. Must have,
what was we see? The Porsche Cup car of Lucas Keys go flying through there. He says, okay, thank you, next. See you later, bye-bye. He comes flying up through the middle. We're watching a bit more action happening elsewhere on the track. I'm seeing some yellow flags just after Druid's hairpin. I think we'll be going over and having a look at exactly what's happened there. I think we can see the number 9 has actually spun out there. We'll be checking in on that in just a minute's time as we watch here. Graham Hill still holding on, sitting tight to the back of Luke there. Luke Jaden Rondinella still holding that. I believe it's not the class lead. Zach Jensen has that. Oh, actually no, sorry, Ritucci. My goodness, Ritucci is holding onto that class lead well ahead there, avoiding all the trouble. We're watching here, so we've got, I think that's Zach Baker on the outside as he comes and clips William Shen, and they both go right into the wall.
Got to be heavy damage in the front.
We've seen some almost synchronized swimming level stuff. You got to watch that rejoin there as well, Will Shen. Keep out of trouble there and make sure you're getting a bit of clear track before you throw yourself back into the mix.
4 minutes to go. This is when the fatigue's kicking in, and you know the brain's starting to switch off a little bit, thinking that you're close to home, but you've really got to switch on right now because the tyres are really starting to hurt a lot, and the competition's really trying to make sure that they've got one more opportunity to have a little bit of a look on the inside, that they're going to make sure it happens. So these drivers really need to make sure they lock in right now and finish this race really strong.
Dave, as a sim racer and as a driver of karts and former cars as well in real life, what's your sort of go-to? How do you get into that zone for the final, 5 minutes of any given race?
I think it's every time you get to the start line, you're kind of always telling yourself just reset again. I think just trying to take one lap at a time rather than trying to look at 3 minutes to go. It's like, okay, just I'm hitting my marks this lap. It's deep breath across the line. Yep, let's do it again. You're not really trying to find lap time. It's just making sure that I've hit my marks and no mistakes.
And what's your preference for those closing out laps in this situation? Would you rather be our man Luke D, Jaden Rondinella, or would you rather be Graham Hill here? What's your preference, defend or chase?
Defending. To be honest, you'd rather lead from the front every single time. You've got the lead, and sometimes you're going to get passed for the lead, and you throw that one away. But more often than not, when you're in the lead, you kind of keep it together and drive home for the victory. You've obviously got to respect the other drivers that aren't going to take you out. But we're back on board here. We got. But you told me Jamie Conboy behind it. It is. He's battled for 6th right now, and we're just in the thick of it with some more GT4 cars in the way as well.
He's 0.166 now behind Bartoletti as he just sits on his heels. Sorry, that's not Bartoletti, that's Baketold. That's my mistake. As they come into the main straight, JC is going to try and get all the toe out of this he can and really throw it into that first turn. Our camera's a little bit confused, but we're back on board. We've got Lucas Keys there dodging some traffic. Got to get in and around the GT4s and avoid causing too much problem drama for the battles that are happening well behind his position in the race.
Yep, 2 laps to go, I would suggest, based off the current lap times that we have. And so The Graham Hill's got less and less opportunity because obviously Lucas Geese is going to be knocking those laps down a lot quicker than he is. So great run down here. See if he can put this last turn together, potentially get a bit of a run onto the main straight because just slowly but surely he's been getting inched closer, but just no opportunities to pass. And I think that's the reason why I want to be in the front rather than chasing all the time.
Yeah, that AMG of Graham Hill really has it put together through these first couple of turns where it always looks like Lupti is barely holding on there in the little Porsche. The AMG is just so planted, and for a car with such a big nose, geez, it really actually points in quite well into these turns. As he stays really close and tight, the gap just 0.26 between the two cars. Unbelievable driving from both of these blokes as he spits out onto the AstroTurf just to the right there of the curbing, but manages to hold it together.
These two have not been further than 2 seconds apart for 45 minutes.
No, and have definitely followed each other for their, their fair few errors tonight. They've both seen a little bit of dirt here, a little bit of grass there, but they've managed to hold it together and keep up this race pace as we're watching a Porsche Cup car just come flying through behind them. It might be Nate James, I think, that Porsche Cup car. I'm trying to pick up the livery there. Can't quite see the number as he spits wide. 2 wheels on the grass, but manages to hold it together. That's such a dangerous turn there. Lucas is still winning. Marshy, I believe, he's above Paddy Johnson there.
He's not across the line really soon.
Behind him. Should be. Oh, as we see Lupti go wide, almost losing it there.
Get some slipstream while you can. Good.
Go on. This is going to be a really tight finish here, depending on what kind of exit Lupti gets into this last straight. They're going to have one more lap irrespective, I think, as Lucas is already halfway around. God, you've got to be sitting here thinking, Rondanella's just thinking, God, can this be over? As Graham Hill goes out wide, tries to look at going around the outside, maybe doing a bit of a fake. Looking down the inside here, he's probably going to try and get as close as he can up into the Druids hairpin, try and own a bit of that track, but and goes deep under brake around the outside, really slows up the car and tries to spit on the inside, but there's just not enough grip there, mate.
No, there's just not enough grip on the outside there for these little GT4s. A lot of the time you can try and get an opportunity to get alongside, and hopefully you can, keep the turn tight for the car inside, but just no opportunity there for Mr. Hill. Hopefully you can try and get this little gap back to. Oh no, Rondanella's had a terrible run onto the long straight. He's going to be driving down the white line. He's going to be driving down the white line.
We're coming up now into McLaren. As he comes up the hill, he's going to have to start to look around the outside, but he's alongside now for the first time in at least a couple of laps. There's not much track out there. Hill manages to hold it on, but he's dropped back a few now. This is going to be really tight coming to the finish here. I think this is probably the best little bit of racing that I've seen in a little while. Glad to be on board here. Thank you so much.
Just he's crossed the line.
Oh, Lupti goes wide. Hill takes the inside. Oh, Lupti's binned it. No, Jaden. Where are you going?
That was for P3.
Oh, Graham Hill soars away. You got to think he's throwing fists in the air, pumping, cheering. The bead of sweat down his forehead. My goodness, this man has been pushing hard and really applied the pressure there to Rondanella. Managed to see it through. We've got Zach Jensen already across the line, I believe, with the win there.
Shooting for the win with Zach Jensen second and Graham Hill for third in GT4. Well done.
Hang on, we've got Pat Johnson showing in first. That might be because Lucas Geese has already dropped out of the server, but we've got Johnston, Miller, Theracolini, McDowell, Baketold, Convoy. I meant JC, you predicted 6th, you got 6th. We didn't get the honorary 7th. We've got then Jason Teo, we've got Bartoletti, Oliver, Ruchuti, Zach Jensen, Graham Hill, Rondanella, Griffiths, Rapui, sorry, and we've got John Foster, Zach Baker, Tanner, Lean coming in close after. Ianello, butchering pronunciations. Reinhardt, Shen after his little tussle there earlier on. And then Glass there bringing us in at 23rd place overall.
That was absolutely fantastic. Matty, I want to give you the opportunity. Give us the driver of the night that you would have seen.
I'll tell you what, if you had to ask me probably about a minute and a half ago, I would have no doubt in my mind said Rondanella. But I think for me, Graham Hill actually takes that away. He's my driver of the session. I think unbelievable work from him, just continuing that sustained pressure up on Rondanella there as we're starting to pour through the different positions there. But that's my driver of the session, mate. Where are you sitting?
I'm actually going to sit with Mr. Zach Jensen. No mistakes, Mr. No Mistakes tonight. I was actually really impressed with, yeah, he was not the fastest there. He had Ricciardi and Hill behind him. Sorry, Rondinella and Hill behind him for a lot of the opportunity, a lot of the time there. And so, no, that was my drive of the night. But, mate, I think that's a wrap up for tonight's action with the GT4s and Porsche Cup cars. You know, some intense battles, some clean overtakes, some not so clean, and some dramatic finishes. Exactly kind of what we look for in those categories.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure being on board for this. I'm obviously a big fan of the Porsche Cup cars, but I think, geez, the GT4s just always offer some really, really close sort of rubbing as racing style moments there. Really authentic, really old fashioned, and quite nail biting, if you ask me.
Oh, mate, nail biting is easy way to put it. I think it was quite tense. I think we can all see, hear from my voice is a little bit of a sigh of relief that maybe some of that was a little bit over, but no, that's exactly what we look for with the multi-class racing. But no, everyone, we hope you enjoyed the coverage. On behalf of myself, Maddie and Benjamin, the commentary and broadcast team, thank you so much for watching and spending tonight with us. Don't go far. We're taking a short break and we'll be back even more with some racing action. Coming up next, it's the Thursday Red Night Split in the Thermaltake Sprint Series, going live at 8:30, so not too far away. That'll be one will be brought to you by Blake and Neil, so stay tuned for another exciting night of racing. Grab a drink, stretch your legs, and we'll see you very soon right here on Octane Online Racing. Good night.
Green light, show them what you got.
Well, we had our multi-class racing action with the Porsche Cups and GT4s just up the road at Brands Hatch, but now it's welcome back to the Thermaltake Sprint Series here by Octane Online Racing. We are here for Split Red at Silverstone. Qualifying has just gotten underway, so we are here for the racing action. I am Lindsay Muddle in the commentary box, and I am joined by Neil Haynes. How are you, mate?
Oh, very good, Lindsay. It's great to be back after a year off, I think, for both of us, but it's great to see Thermaltake coming on board for these red-eyed, split red drivers for the Sprint Series to end the week here at Silverstone.
Yeah, I think so. It always puts on a good show. Silverstone, always a good race, and it's 60 minutes here with a mandatory fuel stop. So there's going to be a pit stop here worked in somewhere by some of these drivers, and it's just all about managing your strategy and getting it right, and the rest will come to you when it comes to a track like Silverstone. Racing, very, very frequent, very, very common around this circuit. All you need to be able to do is wrestle your car around a circuit. So that is exactly what the challenge of Silverstone is. It is really just about being quick and having good racecraft.
Yeah, exactly, and I think some of the drivers also will just keep an eye on those front left tyres as well. They do get a bit of a beating around here, but I think most of them should get around here for this 1 hour without worrying about tyres. And we're looking at Monksy in this Aston Martin in the racing green.
Yeah, Nathan, a very quick driver. He was very quick throughout the practice session before we got this qualifying underway. Expect him to be a challenger here in Silverstone. He's about to kick off his first qualifying lap of the session, so we'll just ride on board with him as he makes his way around the lap. But yeah, a lot of really quick drivers on the grid here tonight. Taufik being another name that reaches out to me from about a year ago. As far as my memory stretches. Other than that, learning as we go here, I think, in the commentary box, learning as to who's going to be quick and who's not. But Nathan at the moment looking very pacey. He's a little bit wide there through the S section, but overall its opening runs, it's just all about getting a time on the board.
Yeah, important to get out of here, out of Maggots and Beckett's to come down this long hanger straight before they tackle Stowe. As we know, it's sort of a very fun corner off camber. You see him coming through here, hitting that apex, and probably drift that car out right over to the curb, as we can see. And he's got to now get himself set up for this left, right through Vale and into Club, where we go over the actual, I think this is where the Formula One drivers will actually start the race through this section here when they race here at Silverstone. Not 100% sure if that's where they start these days. We've had so many different starting lines here at Silverstone over the years.
Yeah, it is where they start the F1, and then they have to run through a flat-out turn one in Formula One cars, and then they head into this corner here of Village, and then they make their way through the loop and then onto the Wellington Straight, which is what Nathan Monks is negotiating right now. So that is where the F1 would start. But here in the GT3 cars and in ACC, we start going into Cops Corner like they used to back in the day in Formula One up until, I was going to say a few years ago, but it's been quite a while at this point. I wouldn't have my finger on it exactly, but yeah, Nathan making his way now around the final corner here at Luffield. He's just got the flat out woodcut to go, and then it'll be a lap time on the board here for Nathan Monks. So here we go, Nathan across the line. That is provisional pole so far, ahead of Salvaggio, a 57.512. A couple of drivers getting laps in on the board at the moment. That is a quick way to set the timing alight, but Brady Adderton in the I can't actually see, in the Mustang, 57.222, takes it right off Nathan Monks. Adderton, very, very much a quick driver in this field, and already starting this qualifying off with a bang.
Well, how about some of these liveries we've already seen, where we saw Adderton there in that Pizza Hut livery car too. I'll tell you what, the boys have really come out with some great liveries to start this split red season. And it looks like he's got the pepperoni on the roof there, by the looks of things there, Lindsay. I don't mind a little pepperoni every now and then.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not the biggest pizza guy, but I do like the livery. I think it's quite funny. Is now we look to Johnston in the Bentley. That's also a very vibrant livery with the purple and all of the little bits of different pieces, which I'm sure when we're closer to it on the run through the grid, we'll get a little bit of a better look, but it looks like it's just fruit all over the car, so I'm absolutely loving that one. Definitely a bit of a laugh.
Maybe there's some fruit boiled lollies. We're not too sure what Johnson's doing there, but he could be throwing out the lollies like the old Jensen used to do back in the day in the V8s, back in the 80s. But look at this one too. This one's a very colourful looking Nissan by Lucas Keys. I'd probably see this driver come up the order a little bit, so he's obviously on a flyer at this stage.
Yeah, Key's a very, very quick driver, as Nathan Monks is actually about to improve, but he's lost a lot there on the exit of Luffield as he's making his way towards the line. Actually, he might not improve here across the line after a slow run through Luffield. No, he doesn't improve. So now we look to Brady Adderton, who is looking to improve here. 2.5 tenths up as he makes his way now towards the line. So it should be very close to the 56s. It is in the 56s for Brady Adderton, a 56.987 as now we look to Raschuti in the 164 Ferrari. He's making his way towards the line. I do believe it's showing as invalid, but it is a 6/10 improvement if it is valid as he makes his way across the line. It was a 57.3, but it was an invalid lap there from the Ferrari. I wonder how Keys is getting along with his lap at the moment as we look here to one of the McLarens of, I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but I'm going to say Nandava in the 43 car. He's making his way around the lap. Here's Johnston again in the Bentley. He currently sits a 1/10.5 up, and I still can't get over that livery.
I'm sure we might see a little bit of this Bentley throughout the race with this livery, so I hope the viewers are really enjoying the fruit salad that may be dishing up here tonight. But Tafiq as well in 4th position in the Ferrari. So Raschuti, I used to call him when he used to love being in the Lamborghini, and I've seen him now switch to the Ferrari, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes for the opening round of this season here for Thermaltake as well. So we'll keep an eye on him in position 6 at this stage.
So now we're looking to Gove in the Ford Mustang. He's making his way around the lap. We just saw Johnston slot his way ahead of Nathan Monks. So the Bentley man making his way up into P2, but currently Gove absolutely flying. He's sitting 3/10 up as he heads into Luffield. He's wrestling the car around. The Mustang definitely not too receptive to slow speed corners, but here in the Milwaukee livery, he's making his way towards the line. It's looking like a 2.5 tenths improvement. I got it out eventually. And he moves up into P7, a 57.9. And here is Brady Adderton to the line, 56.977. He's just making very slow increments up in his times, and he is improving ever so slightly.
Yeah, just hopefully he's got that little bit more in the bag, because we're getting near the end of this qualifying session too, so the tyres will probably be right in the window at this stage. So he's probably got one more attack here to see what he can do. But we've got Samuel in the Porsche trying to get that power down. He's up by 0.4 of a second, going up to the 0.45. Can he eke out a little bit more and get up into the top 5? We'll soon see.
He's giving it a good go here in the Porsche. It's showing it as an invalid lap, but I don't trust the timing on the top left, but he is sitting 4/10 up, currently on a 58.2. That Porsche livery looking quite nicely, and there's another Porsche just up the road in front of him. So what's he going to muster up here? Will it be a valid lap, or is the timing tower lying to us? It was a valid lap. It's P6 here for Samuel, a 57.890 with 2.5 minutes just over remaining. Here comes Johnston towards the line. It's a very, very slight improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Brady Adderton, though, sitting 4/10 up the road still, lap time wise. He is absolutely flying, as here is Lucas Keys, a 56.8 with his last lap, but it was invalidated, so he hasn't got a time on the board, but by the looks of that one, he would be right there with Adderton. And here comes Nathan Monks, finally picking up the pace just a little bit. He should jump up past Johnston here in the Aston Martin, making his way around the final corner, up towards the line. It's a 57.2. It is past Johnston, but still a 3/10 away from Brady Adderton, as he has probably 2 more laps in him, and Johnston is improving himself through Stowe.
taking as much track as he can there, just flirting on track limits. He's looking good though. He could improve here to get back onto the front row. He's just dropped a little bit of time coming out of left field. Actually, he's not out of left field, sorry. He's out of club there. He's got still plenty of time in this lap to try and regain this time. And this Bentley is looking very good out there at the moment on track. We've got the big Ford out there on front. We've got an Aston and then the Bentley. The big car makers are out front. And we've got the sleek Ferrari in fourth of Tafiq. Only a minute left in this qualifying session. I think whether it's not finished yet, I think we're going to see a few more times being challenged here up the top. Lucas Keys, we haven't seen set a good time in yet. I'm expecting to see him up in the top 5.
Yeah, and Johnston making his way towards the line now, back into P2, jumps Monks, who is in the pit lane. So Johnston putting himself in P2 for the moment. Here comes Lucas Keys, a 56.9, but once again, not a valid lap time from the Nissan GTR, as Brady Adderton also invalid here, heading through Stowe on his final lap. So this will be his qualifying effort done. But then again, the timing on the top left doesn't give me all that much hope when it's showing 3 minutes 36. So it could very well be a valid lap. No, he's pulled off to the left-hand side. Here's Taufik, though, in the Ferrari, making his way now down the hangar straight in the run towards Stowe. And you can see Lucas Keys in the background as well, in the GTR that may as well take up the entire camera shot with how big that GTR is as he heads into Stowe corner. Taufik giving it a good push at the moment, currently sitting just about green on his Delta. He won't be looking at that though, he'll be looking right ahead into Stowe. Rashuti giving it a go at the moment. He's heading into Village and then towards the loop. A very tricky section of circuit here in a GT3 car. The cars just really don't like to bite through these mechanical parts of the track, but he gets it through. Very neat and tidy here in the car number 164, as now he's onto the Wellington straight and now the run towards the final 3 corners of the circuit. Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote. So into the entry now of Brooklands, just full commitment, get it over to the left and open up Luffield as much as he can. He hasn't opened it up too much. He trusts the car, has the grip to hold on. Out of Luffield, straight shot it all the way to the outside curb and then now completely flat out towards the line. Through the kink of Woodcote towards the line. It's looking like a big improvement. He currently sits P8. He goes P3 in this session, pipping Monks. So that is an incredible lap here. What about Taufik? He currently sits about 5,500 up on his previous best. Now he's a 10th up on the exit of Luffield. Up towards the line. He loses the time again. It's going to be very, very even. I'm not sure if he's going to improve. He currently has a .680 across the line. It won't be an improvement for Taufik in the Ferrari. What about Gobe? He's currently sitting pretty much dead even on his previous best, but heading through Brooklands. Very, very deep, but he carried a lot of speed. Will he be able to hold that speed now through Luffield, making his way out of the final proper corner? Roaring up towards the line in the Mustang. It's going to be a 10th improvement. Where is it going to place him? Will he be ahead of Taufik? No, he has to settle for P9. And Brady Adderton takes pole position here in the Thermaltake Sprint Series by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, great call for qualifying there, and he was able to just hold on there, but Rashuti staying out as well and getting up into position 3. What an awesome job that was. And here we go with a flyby and sit back and enjoy some of these liveries.
Yeah, there are some. Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just saying, there's that mix supreme of the pizza on the side of the of the spoiler there. So you've got a mixture of all your different slices. That's a party slice right there, and then you've got the fruit to wash it down. The Ferrari in 3rd position with Aston Martin in 4th position, sharing that 2nd row.
I really like that Aston livery of Nathan Monks. It looks really good, and that Porsche livery as well catches my eye. I feel like I've seen something similar before, but I can't place my finger on it. It's a very nice livery though. That McLaren very much fluoro. And then we make our way past Taufik in the 711 car. and it's just a little bit put together there. Oh, our logo's absolutely everywhere, and then you have the Milwaukee livery, which definitely stood out during qualifying.
Yeah, Gobe's doing a really good job in that Mustang. But Johnson, we've seen him in the Porsches. He loves them. In position 10, sharing that 5th row. And have a look at this Ferrari that reminds me of the old Dick Johnson liveries back in the day as well. That's come up very nice indeed for O'Brien. So nice job by those guys. And back into the Porsches again. It looks like that's another one of the Kovacs crew.
Yeah, and then still making our way down the grid. There's another Kovacs car. That is a very nice looking Porsche, if I do say so myself. And then you have the Monster Energy Cam Waters-esque McLaren livery, and as a fan of Cam Waters myself, that is a very nice livery. And then you have another Milwaukee livery there on the left, so there's a few of them here in the Ford Mustangs. So maybe just a few drivers sharing the same livery in the Ford garage. And then you have a very, very, very big Nissan GTR. Absolutely huge. Look at the Porsche behind it. Absolutely tiny in comparison. And then you have some nice liveries there. That BMW livery is particularly striking there with the oak on the top of it as well. You love a good jockey milk, don't you?
Oh, you gotta love a good chocky milk, especially in that in the morning after a late night. And look at this. Sometimes after a late night in the car, the black car coming up, it looks like that's sometimes how your mouth feels as well in this Aston Martin. Right on that bonnet, rough as edges. And as the drivers go by, it looks like one of the Hondas there. Is that a Honda? It looks like they're in my pajamas actually. To be truthful.
You've always got to love that. When you're looking at a car and you look and you go, hey, that looks like what I've got on right now. It's always the most interesting of liveries, I think. When you look at one and it looks like the clothes you have on, it's always either a perfect livery or it's definitely just an interesting one. But we are underway now for the formation lap. Addison obviously leading it away from Johnston, then Raschuti, Nathan Monks on the back of the second row, but they start 2 by 2, so that's not too important. But yeah, all of these cars just lining their way around the circuit here at Silverstone, and they're just going to be focusing, getting tyre temp as much as they can, that is, and a little bit of brake temp as well, but that dissipates quite quickly. So it's just about focusing, getting yourself mentally prepared for the challenge you have ahead of you. And then it'll be time for green flag racing with Lucas Keys there rounding out the back. We know he has the pace. In qualifying, he set a lot of invalid laps, but they were all very much so right behind Brady Atherton. In fact, 1 or 2 of them would have pipped him from pole, so we know he has the pace. It's just going to be a 1-hour comeback charge here for Lucas Keys as they're making their way through what would be the Formula One's final chicane here at Vale, and then we'll be very, very close to the racing action in a few moments' time.
Yeah, well, can we see Lucas Keys do a Rubens Barrichello like he did back in 2002? Came from the back of the grid after stalling the car on the second row and came from the back of the field to end up finishing second in that race back in 2002. So he had a lot of mobile chicanes, and Lucas Keys is going to have the same issue here tonight. I'm sure that his talent should see him get through, hopefully unscathed, but with a big field in front of him. Perfect race conditions, 18 degrees ambient, 23 on track, and not a cloud in sight.
Yeah, that is the absolute perfect racing condition. It gives you absolutely maximum grip pretty much. You can't get much quicker than that. You can't get much nicer than that from a visual standpoint either. So these drivers will be very happy to be making their way around this circuit at the moment. But now we are gearing up for the race start as they go 2 by 2. It's Addison from Johnston on your front row, then Raschuti and Nathan Monks on your second row. Then you have Salvaggio and Samuel on your third row. That is your top 6. So it's Ford against Bentley off the line here. It's pizza versus fruit between Atherton and Johnston as they line up now 2 by 2. The green flags are ready to fly. The green lights are ready to illuminate here as we get ready for racing in the Thermaltake Sprint Series. Anytime now the green flag will drop and we'll be underway for racing action as we wait and we wait and we wait and they cross the line, and it should be go anytime now. as they head into turn 1, and now we are off. Adderton getting away, off to a good start. They're already side by side here. He's trying to hold on, he has held on. Meanwhile, for the third place position, it looks like there's a side-by-side moment between the P3 and 4 cars of Monks and Raschuti. Monks already moving up past the Ferrari. Meanwhile as well, everybody else bunching up. It's just about survival now as they make their way through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. It's very tricky on the opening lap. It can be very scary. The cars all close together. It looks like Salvaggio and Samuel are about to be racing as they head towards Stowe Corner now. No, it's Samuel and... I can't trust the timing tower. It's Samuel and someone, I can't tell. It's one of the Ferraris or McLarens by the looks of it, and now Taufik, I can see, is getting a nose in at the final chicane as here comes Dayton Monks for P2 as well at the Vale chicane. He's up the inside, and it looks like he might have gotten the move done. Actually, I think Raschuti might have been putting the pressure back on him. So there's a lot of squabbling going around at the moment as they head through Club Corner. Raschuti still on the back of Nathan Monks, who's on the back of Johnston. Johnston has a little bit of a gap. I think that Monks had a good run, and then it fell away from him out of Stowe Corner. Otherwise, he would have been mounting a charge on the Bentley. Raschuti, however, on an absolute charge. He got jumped early on, as here is Callum Rosser, side by side with Gobe. No, now he's side by side with Johnson, who's absolutely going for it as they're 3 wide heading through the loop. It's Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche going wheel to wheel here, and now it is Begg and Rochford going side by side as they make their way now onto the Wellington straight here at the end of lap 1. They're still going at it, but it looks like the McLaren just about has the straight line speed as Grant Begg slots in to 13th. He'll be a little bit more comfortable now as they're not going side by side, but lap 1 is about to complete. It's still Adderton leading the way from Johnston, but Monks moved up to P3.
Wow, Lindsay, take a breath. That was unbelievable call for that first lap. There's plenty going on, and we've got the car 41 just staggering through all the yellow at the end. But how was that opening exchange there between Monks and Raschuti? It was amazing, and getting through all that. And we're looking at Begg now in that Mustang-looking McLaren, and looking very good with that monster livery as he gets through Maggots and Beckett's and through Chapel onto the hangar straight. And it looks like everyone's got through fairly cleanly, which is good to see here for Split Red.
Yeah, and it is absolutely a cracking start as Samuel is on the inside of Gobe at the moment as they head through Stowe Corner. The Porsche looking to make a move, looking to try and move up into 9th position. He's trying now the outside of the Vale chicane. The Mustang defending the inside. Gobe still has the inside line, and it looks like he's inching forward and inching ahead, and he slams the door shut, holds onto the place, holds onto P9. Gobe will be happy with that one, but still Samuel isn't going to give up, and he has another Porsche behind him as well in Chalmers, so a lot of battling going on. It's going to take quite a while to space out, if it does space out at all. There's always close gaps here in Sprint Series. It's an hour race, 1 mandatory stop, as that's a car very wide in the background, and I'm not sure, they weren't on the track, they were on the grass. I'm not sure who that was actually. It looked like it could have been Rosser or Grant in the background. I'm not entirely sure here, but still they're making their way through this second lap, and there's a lot going on at the moment. It's just now about settling into a rhythm and getting your head down.
Yeah, definitely. Both Samuel and Chalmers will want to work together if they can to get back to Gobe here. Both Kovacs are racing teammates, but I'm sure the 2 Porsche drivers, if it comes to it, they'll be racing hard together, but hopefully without exchanging panels. As the fastest lap goes to Patrick Johnson there in the car number 50 in the Bentley, so chasing down Adderton, but we are looking at Taufik here in the Ferrari. As I said, I've been used to seeing him in the Lamborghini, but it's good to see him going well here in position 7, and luck hopefully will go his way, because things have been tough for him over the last year or so when I remember commentating, and looks like the change of car may be just what he needs here.
Yeah, he's giving it a good go at the moment. He's right behind Jusman, and he has Johnson behind in the 52 Porsche, so they're still going at it at the moment, but Taufik not close enough to go for a move. This is the point in the race where realistically it's just going to settle in. Overtakes will still happen, but they've just got to make sure that they're all in position, they're all holding well, and not getting any damage on their car, so we'll see a little bit more conservative driving from these drivers at the moment, but they're still making their way here around the lap at Silverstone. They're going to be lapping around Silverstone for about the next 55 minutes, so they've got a while ahead of them yet, and now it is just all about making sure you have yourself in check. You've got the drivers in front of you to deal with inside. As here, we have a replay. This is through the loop on lap 1. Replay one of the Mustangs, and he absolutely gets him around. It was just a daylight dodge there, and he just absolutely hit his race. Someone else's at all. That was a Mercedes steering off to the left-hand side into the wall as well. There's also a McLaren in the wall down the straight. It looks like he just fell out of shape. Hit the wall, and I think that was Salvador. That's a really random crash. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
It's got a little bit of damage there. He's enough to carry that through down in the race. I think that's going to be handling too well. Much that fence and very hard by the look of things. That's really got to be almost extending that lead to 6 seconds with many laps. So doing really good as a start in that third lap. 6 down that lead by Johnson.
Yeah, he's really putting in monumental at the moment. Another thing could be fuel. Who knows what they're doing? But Addison was the quickest in qualifying as well. So definitely a few things to consider outside of just pure pace. But yeah, here's the moment. Oh, he just got bumped into the air. I absolutely have no idea what happened there. It just looks like I think he hit the grass just heading through the exit, and the McLaren just was not a fan of it. As now we go to Thermaltake, who's up the inside of Jusman as they're racing here side by side through Stowe, and now towards the Val chicane they go. Thermaltake looking for it, but I don't know if he's close enough. He shows the nose on the inside. He's late on the brakes there. Jusman leaving the room just about, but a little bit of squirrely moments there, under braking, trying to slam the door shut, and Thermaltake is going to have to wait for another day.
Yeah, good driving by both of them, and Jusman as well, just opening it up a little bit just to make sure that Tafiq didn't quite tag him as well, but you know, quality driving there to get through that without any contact. We're looking back here of Jusman. You can see that Thermaltake wing at all. Look at Tafiq, he's trying to see where he can try and unsettle Jusman, but it looks like Tafiq now has to think about Johnson behind him, because he's got a little bit of a run coming down here, down the Wellington Straight. There's a pretty one-way lane around through here as well as they go through Brooklands and Luffield, but as we said, as you've said, even in qualifying, it's really about getting a good exit, getting traction out of Luffield and get your full throttle right through this little kink here at Woodcote, and try and be brave into turn 1 and Cops, and get a good run on the lead up to Maggots and Beckett's.
As Gove currently carrying a 10-second time penalty on his car, but that was a big mistake from Johnson ahead of him, and now he's going to go up the inside of Maggots, gets it done there in the Ford Mustang, so he moves up into P8, and this is now damage limitation time for the Ford Mustang driver. He currently sits with a 10-second time penalty, so he's going to have to make the most of the situation. As now we look to Jusman, who's very close behind Salvaggio as they head towards Stowe Corner. We know Salvaggio's already had a moment, and now Jusman is trying to go the long way around. Surely not here at Stowe. Thermaltake now sees an opportunity to try to get involved. He gets a slingshot off the exit of Stowe. Now he's looking to the outside line at the Val chicane, and now Jusman looks up the inside, showing the nose, making his presence known to Salvaggio, but no moves at the moment. But they're all just showing their noses, trying to make their presence felt and made aware that they're around each other, and at the moment they're just not giving each other an inch to try and get past.
Yeah, this is where the level heads have to really prevail here. Salvaggio, as we know, is carrying some damage. Look at this, he's about nearly 6 seconds behind Raschuti. And, you know, Jusman, Tafiq, Gold, Johnson, all those players, Samuel, they're getting held up here. But, you know, Salvaggio is doing a good job, but it's really up to Jusman now to try and see if he can get through. And I think if he gets past a lot of the other drivers, we'll probably try and hound Salvaggio and take him out of the picture here, because look at the move of the Mustang, having a little look. They're all getting frustrated here. Lindsay, we've got to keep an eye on this, because this could brew up to something.
Yeah, I think so. It's looking really, really close here, and it's been a ticking time bomb waiting to happen, this battle. They've gone side by side lightly a few times, but no real proper overtaking opportunities have arisen just yet, but this is the closest they've been to one another since the race start, and now they're trying to give it a go. It's Salvaggio from Jusman, from Taufik, then Gobe and Johnston in this train, as well as everybody else behind them, but these are the main contenders here in this train. It is two McLarens, a Ferrari and a Ford Mustang, as well as a Porsche tailing up the rear. So this is the battle to watch as they head now onto the hangar straight. We have a Ferrari in hot pursuit, and we also have two McLarens ready to go at it here. Jusman tried the outside last lap. Will he be forced to the outside again? It looks like he will be. He has a bit better of a run this time, but it looks almost like rinse and repeat. But this time Jusman's not giving it an inch here as he's trying to attack Salvaggio into the Vale chicane. It's a switch. It's late on the brakes from Jusman. He can't get alongside Salvaggio. Slams the door shut, and Taufik once again left to lie in wait. He can't find a way into this fight. He gets so close every time, but he can't get a nose ahead as here comes Jusman into Abbey. Surely not. They're going to go side by side. The two McLarens not giving each other any room. As now, here comes Taufik. Towards Village they go. Then potentially going to go side by side. It's late on the brakes. It's the long way round attempt here. Jusman now really has the pressure on behind him. He's going to be forced to try and overtake here on Salvaggio. They're still side by side. The two McLarens going at it as they head out of Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight. It's slipstream fest here between the two McLarens. Jusman trying to hammer and tong his way through into the next position, but he's going to be forced around the outside of Brooklands and into Luffield. He goes for the switchback. He takes all the curb available here. Now he's on the outside at Luffield. He tries to cut back underneath. He is alongside just barely as they make their run now towards Cops Corner. Jusman inching ahead. Taufik decides he doesn't want a bar over here. 12 minutes into the race, he comes into the pit lane to avoid this train, and Jusman finally claims stake to the position ahead of Salvaggio, but it's not done just yet. They're looking like they're going to have a fight back here. Salvaggio wants this place back desperately.
Yeah, that was set up about 4 or 5 corners ago as well. The switchbacks, he caught it so well, and it's good to see that Jusman has made that a nice clean pass. But as you said, straight in the pits to feet go, and you wonder if he hung on the back of Jusman, if he would have made that pass as well, and for Salvaggio as well. But look behind us, it looks like the Mustang is out muscling the McLaren, and he's around the outside, and it looks like he's made it clear before the braking, and he's got up into 6th position there.
Good stuff, but Salvaggio's not done just yet as they head into Vale. It looks like he's just falling down the order like a stone. 2 cars getting past him in the succession of about a lap at the moment, more like half a lap, but still he's just falling even further backwards. Here comes Johnson. Oh, that's contact at the final corner between Begg and Samuel by the looks of it, or Begg and Chalmers, one of the two. Here's Johnson into turn 1, losing the place to Salvaggio, or not losing the place, trying to gain the place, but failing to. It was Chalmers who came together with Grant Begg at turn 1, as here comes the McLaren in the Monster Energy livery as Johnson's up the inside of the loop. It's late on the brakes. It's a very popular move to try and make, and he's pulled it off absolutely perfect there, and he gets past and he gets ahead. But I think that Salvaggio will want to try and fight that back, but it looks like he just doesn't have the speed. In fact, now he's on the defensive to Grant Begg in the other McLaren. He goes up the inside now in the Monster Energy liveried McLaren. He's going to get switched back though surely here. He ran really deep, nearly ran into the back of the Porsche ahead of him. Now they're side by side through Luffield. Still Salvaggio trying at the outside line, but it looks like Grant is just going to get the place, and Salvaggio now decides to pull into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think that's the right move. He was roughly 2 seconds a lap slower than the guys up front, so he needed to try. Once those guys are starting to hound him, as I said earlier, once one made a move, they'd all start putting that pressure on and make those moves. And, oh, look at this. Here we go. Oh, up on 2 wheels. Thank you very much. He was lucky not to roll over then. Going back live now, back to Pete Chalmers. So it was very important those guys could get through past Salvaggio, because as I said, 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap slower. And as they were all grouped up, they were going to lose touch of the cars in front if they were getting caught behind. So they don't have to worry about that now as Salvaggio is in the pits. But now Pete Chalmers, what can he do? He's in position 9, chasing down the Cam Waters looking McLaren Monster Energy car of Begg. Here's a replay. Look at this.
Oh, that's monstrous. The Ferrari, that's Rasciuti, just absolutely pelted into the side of his car and went up on two wheels. Nathan Monk's luckily still circulating around this track, but he sits in 6th from what was a P3, and it's definitely a little bit of a punt to pass moment, but he took it to a bit of an extreme, trying to roll his opponent, did Rasciuti.
That's exactly right. But talking about who's rolling, look at Lucas Keys in the 777 there, Lindsay, up into position 11 from the back of the grid. And he is absolutely flying. So he's benefited from those cars getting banked up earlier. And he's really in touch here.
Yeah, he really is. It's a lot of talent behind the wheel, a lot of racecraft, and a lot of straight line speed being in the Nissan, mixed with a lot of pace with the driver behind the wheel. And he's already now looking for another move here on Samuel. So the Nissan on the hunt. Lucas Keys is going to get the place because the Porsche pulls into the pit lane. We are just over 15 minutes into this race, and Lucas Keys on an absolute charge up into P10 already after not setting a qualifying lap, might I remind you. So he is absolutely flying around this circuit, and he's nowhere near done. He has another set of cars just up the road in front of him, so this is going to be really interesting stuff here as he closes up and hounds to the back of this battle that we've already been watching with so much intent, and now he's here to spice it up even more.
Yeah, it's good to see, and it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do here now if he starts not being able to clear these guys. Like if he can't pass Begg, I mean, Chalmers too early. These drivers, you know, have raced so much together. They know each other. They know, you know, where the strengths are for each of the individual drivers. He may opt to try and do the undercut and pit early, and then just get some clear laps again and try and leapfrog the drivers in front of him, because he's got a big training and he's got the pace there. So maybe that early pit stop might help Keys here.
Very much could. I think it's allowing him to get past quite a lot of cars as he's really close behind Chalmers, and he is going to lunge it up the inside. I thought he might, and he gives it a go, gets it done quite comfortably there. So another position picked off from the Nissan GTR, and it's quite a stunning livery on that car as well, as we now go on board inside the cockpit of Lucas Keys' Nissan GTR, as there's a big Lumi rank board blocking our view as they head now into Brooklands. And Grant Begg is now going to be next up on Lucas Keys' hit list. He is absolutely carving through this field like a hot knife through butter at the moment, I think is the most accurate depiction of what he's doing, and that's a bit of a snap there on the exit for Grant Begg. Surely not a turn one move here from Lucas Keys. He's going to pull to the right hand side and to the inside, and I don't think Grant wants a bar of it. He lets Lucas Keys go, and that is the presence that Lucas has on the track. People do not want to get in his way until you sort of reach that top 6 area. I think Nathan Monks will be the first person to give him a proper go. He was the P3 sitter. He got into the incident that we saw twice already in a replay, and now Lucas Keys is only one car between himself and Nathan Monks. This is going to be a really good battle when that ends up happening in probably a few laps' time.
Yeah, sure will be, and I'm sure that Monks is happy that he's got his 4 wheels back on the ground there after getting it up on 2 wheels, and lucky to survive that little incident. But obviously, as you can see, dropped a ton of time. But look, he'll keep pushing on here, and we'll see what happens there with Shooty, who's up into still holding 3rd position. But old Scotty Rochford's doing a good job there in position 12. In that Porsche, and another of the Kovacs crew is really truly out in split red here tonight too, so they're very strong. And we've obviously got Carl Johnson and I think Pete Chalmers up in that top 10 as well. So talk about Carl Johnson, here he is, as he's now going to try and hold up Lucas Keys if he can. Just got to try and hold this obviously the Nissan with the straight line speed, but hopefully the nimbleness of this Porsche through this part here, the last part of the circuit, get him around and get a good exit. But he's gone wide here. He's really struggling to hold onto the rear. Look at the opposite lock. That would have been unbelievable onboard footage there, but he's been able to keep the car going. but he looks like he's going to not be able to hold on to this position here. As it looks like Lucas Keys is going to take it down the inside into Copse here, and he does. Nice clean move, but Carl Johnson is still trying to fight back, but I don't think he's going to be able to challenge the Nissan as it gets through Beckett's and onto the hanger straight.
Yeah, that Nissan is an absolute monster in a straight line, so once it gets going, when we head onto the straight, he should absolutely disappear, and there it is. As I saw a yellow flag there on the track map, it looked like car 99. It had a moment of some description as they head into Stowe Corner. It looks like Nathan has a little bit of a safety net to Keys behind, 2.6 seconds. Lucas will have to catch as Mike Crick picks up a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision on lap 1. So definitely not ideal for him, but he'll just continue to push on. 5 seconds isn't too dramatic in the grand scheme of things. So a couple of people have already been through the pit lane for their fuel stop, and I wonder when we will get the next load of pit stops. As here is a replay of said yellow flag. It was just a Porsche moment. There we go, car 99 off into the wall. It's definitely a bizarre crash. I haven't seen it too many times, but when the Porsche does Porsche things, it sends the driver that it's in behind the wheel for a little bit of a roller coaster ride that they have no control of. But now we cut back to Tim Gobe versus Nathan Monks. This gap only 0.3 of a second, nearly 0.4 of a second, and the Aston Martin is trying to hound the back now of the Ford Mustang. Nathan on a revenge charge after his incident earlier on in this race. Not a bar of fault of his own. Raschuti definitely will be getting looked at, but Nathan Monks now has just got to try and damage limitate here as he heads out of Luffield. He's just got a Mustang in his sight, and in fact he decides to pull into the pit lane. I was just talking about the pit stops. There we go. Nathan Monks, one of the front contenders, pulls into the pit lane here 22 minutes into the race.
Yeah, Tim Gobe would be a bit upset with that 10-second penalty that he got early in this race, because he's well and truly really in the hunt here for a top 6 finish. But look, he'll keep muscling through here and get pride to see where he will finish over the line, and hopefully he can hold on to still finish in the top 10. As looks like Jusman, I don't know if that just popped up there, the 15 seconds, but he's obviously got a time penalty as well. So the 4th and 5th both got time penalties here.
Yeah, the steward's getting a bit of a workout tonight by the looks of it, and just a quick thank you to all the stewards and even the man behind the camera, director Benny Hignett, is here in the commentary box with us directing the cameras, and he's an absolute legend. And thank you to everyone involved with making this all happen, and that includes obviously the series sponsor of Thermaltake. But now back to the racing action. Rochford trying the outside of the BMW. He's trying to give it a go here as he parks it now on the apex, and now they're going to be dragging towards Club Corner, and through Club Corner they're still side by side, BMW versus Porsche. The BMW goes very wide off the corner. They have Rosser as well in the background looking to get involved, but Rochford unable to get past. He loses quite a lot of time there at turn 1, as now he has to look in his rear views. There's a McLaren right behind him, trying the outside now of the slow right-hander, and now towards the loop. Surely not. He tries to cut back to the outside, get a wider run, and slingshot the exit. What can the McLaren do? What can Rochford do compared to the BMW? We know the BMW has better straight line speed than a Porsche, but Rochford had the better exit, and he has a dose of slipstream as well. Towards Brooklands and Luffield they go. He's trying it the long way round. The BMW defending the inside line. Rochford now trying the more cut back open line to try and prioritise the exit. They head through Luffield. They've been setting this up now for a few corners. It's all about thinking ahead here at Silverstone to try and get your moves done. The McLaren of Rosser pulls into the pit lane in the background. Rochford has a fantastic run as they head towards Cops Corner, but he's not quite alongside, but still the BMW defending anyway. This is Darrell behind the wheel of the BMW. He's trying to give it a go, but still Rochford lying in his rear views as here we go into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. He's still making his presence known on the inside, but Darrell is so quick through the high speed. He just absolutely gives it his best go, but it looks like Rochford is just so much better on the exits.
Yeah, it definitely does. Just obviously with the Porsche just being able to put that power down, and just the mid-corner speed of the BMW. Darrell's doing an awesome job there, and in the Cowabunga BMW, and he's doing a good job there in 10th position too. and seeing if he can just keep this Rochford at bay until they come into the pit stops and see what happens when they come out. And we don't know if any of these drivers will take the option of possibly putting some tyres on. We had a little discussion there earlier during practice off air, if it's worth the 5 seconds extra to put the tyres on, as it's a fixed time for fuel, so we've got 25 seconds for the fuel, and if people decide to put the tyres on, it'll be a 30-second stop, so probably not worth it in the end, but you just don't know if some people have taken too much out of the tyres in this first opening part of the race. It's been pretty intense right through the field with the battling, so some of the drivers may have worn those tyres out a little bit and might struggle with the back end of this race.
Yeah, 100%, but I think the tyres should be okay, as Brady Adderton is now in the pit lane, so your race leader has pulled into the pits, as now we have a replay, and this is the Pizza Hut Ford Mustang, and that is the that was why there was a yellow flag, the 404 Honda NSX. Holy moly.
His pyjama pants, that's the one that I was saying, that had looked like my pyjama pants, and you're lucky to not get collected there.
Yeah.
Almost dropped a pizza.
Yeah, and Adderton, I do believe, was the Ford that was right there. That would have been very scary. In fact, yeah, it was Brady Adderton with the pizza livery. I thought so, but wasn't entirely sure. But that would have been a very scary moment there for the leader. I think he would have been just a little bit of a Code Brown moment there in the cockpit, but he managed to get away with it, come into the pit lane unscathed, and continue on his strategy. Is actually that's a 5-second time penalty for Dan Foxtrot, as now we look on board with Lucas Keys, still on a hunt here in the 777 Nissan GTR. He's absolutely cutting his way through this field, and now he has Gobe in front of him and Jusman as well, so he's got a couple more overtakes to make, and we won't really know how this race is looking until most of the pit stops have been completed, which at the moment is just currently not the case. A few drivers in, and we've still got a lot more to see strategy-wise, so I think we'll see where everyone is actually stacking up in probably about 10 minutes. But Lucas Keys already trying to make moves here down the Wellington straight. He's on the hunt. He's in the slipstream right up behind the Ford Mustang, but he decides he doesn't want to give this a go. He definitely had the straight line speed, and he could have had the overlap, but he's just being patient, and that is the racecraft of Lucas Keys. He knows he has the time to play with. He still has another over halfway through this race, 32 minutes, and as well, he's eyeing up the pit lane, so that would also be another explanation as to why. But yeah, Lucas Keys already having an absolutely sensational race.
Yeah, I was going to mention that maybe he wouldn't want to get there because he'd be caught on the outside, and obviously looking to possibly tuck in for that pit stop, which he has done. And still got Johnson and Raschuti up in second position, and he's the driver actually misplaced with for Tafiq actually in that Ferrari. So Raschuti's the driver that I've always known to be in the Lamborghini, not Tafiq. So I apologise to Tafiq, because I'm pretty sure that he has always been in that Ferrari that I've come to see when Tafiq's driving. But it was Raschuti who has had that change of manufacturer into the Ferrari and doing well. 5 seconds off from Johnston here, who's still got his fruit salad Bentley humming along, and once he pits, I think that he should still be on track in second position if everything goes right, Lindsay.
Yeah, he should be. Brady is on an absolute generational run of form in this race. It's been absolutely sensational driving all the way through at the moment. We're about halfway through. He has some cars to negotiate now that the pit stop strategies are a little bit off kilter between everyone on the circuit. But yeah, he's had some absolutely incredible pace, as we are currently looking at Tim Gobe, and he's looking behind Jusman at the moment. These two both carrying penalties. Gobe with a 10-second time penalty, Jusman with a 15-second time penalty, so already Gobe theoretically ahead, but he'll want the position on track to try and extend as well, so he can run off into some clean air and just have a little bit of fun with it. As it looks like there's a yellow flag there at Chapel from someone. That's a scary place to have a crash, so I'm sure we'll get a replay of that at some point. But now we're looking at Brady Adderton, and there's a McLaren right in his sights. It is the 43 car of Nandava, who has a penalty. Shouldn't give Adderton too much grief as he gets to switch back there at the loop, and he's going to move through it. Aintree gets the place. The Mustang makes it look easy. So comfortable stuff from him there, as here is the replay of what happened. And it is the BMW we were looking at before of Darrell, and he heads through Chapel. Oh, he just got absolutely pile-drived by a Ferrari. Don't get me wrong, he didn't have a great run. Still no excuse from that Ferrari to just absolutely fly into the back of him. That is really unfortunate there for Darrell, but yeah, it happens sometimes, but that is a big overlap in speed that has caused that crash.
Yeah, it looked like just as you said, it didn't look like his entry speed was as fast as normal, but yeah, no fault of his own. He's now pointing the wrong way, but you know, he'll try and get it back together again and get out there and see where he can go, because he's been having some good pace there, and up until that point, I think he was just bordering on that top 10 position. So we'll see what happens by the end of the race there, but he would have lost a little bit of time to get going again. Hopefully not too much damage.
Yeah, hopefully not, as we're looking at Johnston as he's making his way around the circuit, currently in 7th. So Adderton 2 places
up.
Oh,
sorry to cut you off, but he's got
I didn't notice that.
30 come up, so possibly speeding in pit lane.
Yeah, I think you'd be right. That would be poor speeding in the pit lane, and he was the P2 car. That's race changing there for Johnston, and as well as that gap to Adderton, not as big as it was before, so he would have been right in the running here if it wasn't for that stop-go. That's really unfortunate. Adderton was clawed right back to him. All he had to do was overtake one car, but this is the moment that caused the problem. He sped in, nearly hit the wall on the outside for good measure, and that is a penalty smack bang comfortably there for Johnston. He would have been right there with Adderton for the race win, but instead, Adderton gets to run away again, and he has to serve a stop-go penalty. Really unfortunate there for Johnston, but he dug his own grave on that one, as now we look to Samuel, who has Nathan Monks in hot pursuit. I think Nathan might have repaired a bit of damage, considering where he's sitting at the moment in comparison to Lucas Keys, who was hunting him down earlier on, but now the Aston Martin trying to make moves and trying to make amends for the earlier issues that he had by no fault of his own, and he's all over the back of the Porsche at the moment.
Yeah, so obviously we're looking also at the battle here with Beck, as we were saying, in 15th position, just holding in this McLaren. I'm been impressed by his drive so far. He's been doing a great job to be able to hold some of these experienced drivers behind as well. So it's been a good display as one of the other Porsches come in for a pit stop. Down to the rear of the Porsche here is a beautiful sounding car as well, as he's trying to keep this gap and try and extend it if he can away from the Aston Martin right behind him. But you can see the racing green, the British green of this Aston Martin. He's going to put it down the inside here into Stowe by the looks of things. He's made that nice and easy textbook exit out of Chapel, and made that very easy indeed.
Yeah, he did, and now Nathan Monks is on the back of Grant Begg as well, and it looks like he's already trying to make a move up the inside of the Vale chicane. He gets it done. Easy does it, and now he still continues to charge his way through, so that puts Nathan Monks up into P11, and now he has to close 1.7 seconds to Johnson ahead, and then he has to try and overtake. That'll put himself back in the top 10, but he's got quite a bit of time to make his way through. We've already seen Lucas Keys do much more in the space of less laps, so Nathan Monks now is just going to have to put his pace to work here, as that is Begg being pressured from Johnson. I think, oh no, it is Samuel, you're right, as he's up the inside through Aintree, and Begg losing the place by the looks of it. They're still side by side down the Wellington straight, and he's now trying to switch to the inside. The McLaren looking to go late on the brakes. Oh, nearly rear ends the Porsche there as Samuel, but Samuel gets it done. A good move there. I'm not sure why I thought it was Johnson for some reason, but yeah, it is definitely Samuel, as Lucas Keys sets the fastest lap of this race with a 57.2. This battle, though, not done just yet. As Grant Begg's still sitting right there, but I think they're through the exit of Luffield. Johnson trying to get away just a bit, and they have a charging Tim Gobe, who served a penalty, coming up behind them as well, so they've got to be vigilant. They've not got to battle too hard here. They don't want too many cars to catch up to them.
Yeah, don't forget the pole time was a 56.9, I think it was too. So with a 57.2 by Keys, he's on a rapid pace, definitely mid part of this race as well. If he's still on those used tyres, that's not a bad time at all.
It's definitely not. It's really quick, and I think we see it a lot from a lot of these quicker guys. They get really close to qualifying pace when it comes to race time, especially when you get to this point. You're on a little bit lower fuel, even after making a fuel stop. And yeah, it's just push time. It's get your head down time. Lucas has a lot of clean air in front of him, 8.3 seconds to Rashuti, as a matter of fact, which he's trying to close. And with the blistering pace he's showing, not sure if he'll quite be able to close it, but you never know when it comes to Lucas Keys. He's good at making the impossible happen, and getting that pace out of the GTR is just about impossible, so he's proving my point, and he's absolutely flying around the circuit at the moment. Definitely a big shout out to him for his racing so far. He's on an absolutely monumental drive at the moment, and he's still got some work to do.
Yeah, we're about 15 seconds behind Adderton, who obviously will take the effective lead once, well, he's in the effective lead, but once Chalmers pits, we'll see Adderton back in the lead of this race. So, you know, there's still some time there for Lucas Keys, but it's going to be tough unless Adderton makes a little mistake. I think Adderton can really just, you know, lap at a certain time, but here we go. Lucas Keys puts that time now down to a 57.1, so will we see a 56 in race trim here? That'll be the question we'll be asking Lindsay, and I'll tell you what, that might start getting Adderton just a little bit nervy seeing those fastest time people coming on the board from Lucas.
Yeah, 100%, and these times are just getting quicker and quicker and quicker, so fantastic stuff to see everybody pushing. But here's a replay. I do believe this would be Tim Go, but then again there were two Milwaukee liveries. But oh, he's just clipped the grass on the entry to Village, and yeah, you definitely can't do that, and you definitely can't park there. As here's Johnston on the outside of one of the Mercedes as well. Fantastic stuff from him here in the replays. That is a great move. Now we look to Johnson. There's a lot of Johnston, Johnson, all different pronunciations here, very similar to one another here tonight. Definitely a tongue-twisting opportunity, but yeah, Carl Johnson giving it a good go at the moment. He has a Mercedes in front of him, but I'm inclined to believe that's a blue flag car, considering there are blue flags waving. He's not up on the timing tower. That could actually be a different Johnston, as a matter of fact. Actually, no, that one's inside the pit lane. But yeah, a lot of Johnston is my point.
That's exactly right. And there's another one there that I'm not too sure. Hopefully, maybe the viewers or you might even know. The Rosser in 12th and 13th. Are these siblings at all? Because there's only 1 second between the two of them. There's a C Rosser and an M Rosser. I'm not too sure, but there could be some friendly family fire going on there too if they're both related.
Absolutely no clue in the slightest, but I'm sure that someone in chat will know, so they'll be sure to let us know in any moment now, I'm sure. Oh, that's an Aston Martin off the grass. Oh my lord, that is Atkins, and he just nearly swiped Rochford. That was a very, very, very big moment there as he flashes the lights, and I think he's let the Porsche go. I'm not sure if they made contact there. It was very, very abrupt. If they did, I'm sure we'll see a replay of that. That caught me off guard by quite a margin. That was very, very hairy stuff there, as we currently look at Tim Gobe making his way through the S's. Here would be the replay, as here's Aintree. He just ran deep trying to leave room, and snapped, and oh, internet moment.
Yeah. There you go. So it looked like it just didn't want to turn, but maybe that was just the internet connection, who knows. But yes. Oh, there we go, a little bump.
Redressing that one by the looks of it, as they did make contact. I'm not sure that I would particularly put that one on Go, but he decides it's the right thing to do anyway. He lets Samuel go, and he'll try to have another go at it through the next portion of the lap, or potentially next lap as well. Here in the Ford Mustang, there's still another straight to go in this lap as Chalmers in P1 now makes his pit stop. That'll allow the order to go back to normal here as everyone on the grid, I believe, by the looks of it, once Chalmers has served his pit stop, will have made a stop in this race. So then we can see how the pecking order really stacks up. So Addison leading the way once Chalmers comes out from Raschuti, and Lucas Keys in the podium places. That is absolutely fantastic stuff from Lucas Keys. Didn't qualify, now sitting P3. That's definitely driver of the day if he can bring this one home, but there's still 20 minutes for something to go wrong.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't go anything wrong for the top three, and then we'll just see how good Lucas can be if he can get onto the back of Raschuti and have a great battle for second position. That's well and truly on the cards, I would say. He's lapping that little bit faster each lap to Raschuti, but you know, I think Raschuti will obviously have the elbows out to try and hold on to position 2 if he can. But Nathan Monks, he's also probably been the unlucky one of the race, as we saw earlier, up on 2 wheels with himself and Raschuti were at battle. And, or Tafiq was it? I think it might have been with Tafiq, sorry.
It was Raschuti.
Raschuti. And there's a Mercedes. We haven't seen Mercedes for a while, but in that back end and in the view. Down the order though.
Yeah, I do believe it's a blue flag runner. We spotted him just a couple of laps ago. And yeah, Mercedes not too much of a common car, but I think there was 2 Mercedes on the grid tonight, if I'm not mistaken, as currently we're looking at the 2 McLarens here. Jusman looking to the inside of Grant Begg, decides to go back to the racing line, deciding not to go for it, playing the patient game. This is for the edge of the top 10, and they will want to fight at it, but they've still got a while to go, so they're just going to want to make it home here. Surely not up the inside of the F1 turn 1. No, he's not going to go for it here at Abbey. And now he makes his way through Farm Curve and then towards the braking zone for Village. And he's got to cut back into the loop. All good overtaking zones here, especially in a car like the McLaren. A lot of mechanical grip. In fact, he is trying to put an elbow in to try and force Begg wide, but Begg saw it coming and defended very hard, and that's very good driving there from Grant to read that one and just not letting Jusman get a go of it up the inside. But now into Brooklands, it's McLaren Civil War. He looks to show the nose. He doesn't go up the inside once again, just playing that patient game that all drivers have to do at some point throughout a race. And now he's on the outside of Luffield. He's now going to try the cut back square off the exit, but it looks like he just got a little bit squirrely there when he tried to get the power down. Grant should live to fight another day, but as they head towards Cops Corner, Jusman does have a good run, but surely it's not a move up the inside. No, it's not going to be, but he's just sizing up a move, opening up corners, focusing on exits. Jusman will surely be through this time round.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, but it's been a good return to Begg back into the sprint series, up into 10th, still holding on to it by just at the, you know, the last grip of his grip here into the top 10. I think, as you said, Jusman will probably get this position. It seems like Begg after the pit stops has struggled quite a bit. He was up there in order, but slowly we saw Chalmers and Samuel, all those drivers getting through him fairly easy, but here's Samuel now trying to hold off Go, but it looks like he's got the good exit in that Porsche. He's been able to hold on, but down the inside does the Mustang Go, but he's going to be on the outside trying to get through Vale, and you don't want to really be on the outside through there. So here we go again. What will we see from Go in this Mustang? He's trying to go into turn 1, or it's not turn 1, sorry, but into Abbey. And here's those the McLarens again, fighting at it. Putting it on for the viewers here, the 2 battles of the McLarens. Who's going to be the leading McLaren at the end of this race? Begg is holding on to it with the Monster Energy one, and he's really defending hard as he goes into the loop.
Oh no, that's a bump and run opportunity, but he's ended up hurting both of their races. The 2 McLarens come together, Jusman and Begg, at the end of the top 10. That'll allow Rosser to close in. They slowed up a big amount there through that contact. Half spun for the most part. We'll probably get a little bit of a replay of that one soon enough. But Johnson sitting behind Taufik, heading into Cop's corner, so a little good battle here. Monks is there as well, so it's a good battle. But here's the onboard here with Jusman. He just tried to show an elbow. It's a good defense from Grant, the same thing he did last lap, and yeah, Jusman just tried to pile drive and hit him with a second tap that straightened him out again. But definitely not a time loss you'd want. But here's a 3-car battle between Johnson, Monks and Taufik, and this is for P4. So this is going to be some dicey stuff here. Monks trying still to damage limit what happened earlier in this race with Rashuti. So any place closer to the top 3 will be well taken, as here comes Monks, a late switch up the inside. It's late on the brakes. That would be a cracking move if he can get it done. He's still side by side with Johnson. Now he's going to back out of it, try to switch back. He couldn't get it done. Very audacious for an overtake attempt there from Nathan Monks. He couldn't get it done, but it's stuff like that, to not make contact when you have that much of a feel of your car and the limit of it. That is absolutely fantastic to see. He just has the confidence, but he just couldn't quite pull it off. But that battle is far from done, but that little squabble is allowing Taufik to get a little bit further up the road. He's going to be creeping up the road ever so slightly, trying to get away from Johnson and Monks. And that gap now sitting at about 0.8 of a second. So Johnson will have to get his head down and try not to feel too much pressure from Monks, as here we go. The two McLarens going at it again. Jusman will try force the inside again. No, he's going to be patient. He's going to try the switchback. He nearly hits the back of Grant again as they head now through Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight. And they're going to be battling away here as they head down the Wellington Straight, the slipstream, giving Jusman the assistance that he needs to get alongside and pull to the outside of Luffield. Not Luffield, Brooklands. Now he'll have the switchback, and now he has the outside of Luffield, and he's going to try and inch ahead, but he's just alongside, loses out again. Now he gets the power down on the exit, has the slipstream, the run towards Cop's corner. He's going to give it a go, but he's not close enough. These two just not giving each other an inch at the moment.
No, they're not, but unfortunately it looks like Beck's just picked up a penalty for an incident back on lap 7 so long ago, so that's heartbreaking for Beck. But look, this racing that's been in front of us has been outstanding, so hopefully that does not deter these two to keep this clean battling going. It's been tremendous. As we're looking at this battle here now with Carl Johnson's trying to, he's sort of brought back into Tafiki. He's not thinking too much about Monks. Monks was earlier around through this part of the circuit. Monks was trying to make a move on Johnson, but the nimbleness of the Porsche just kept that rotation, and the Aston just was struggling to get around. But again, Carl Johnson, he'll really want to try and see if he can get past Tafik, because if he can, he'll know that he'll have that clean air for the last 12 minutes and possibly hold on to 4th position. But at this stage, he's really under pressure, and he couldn't lose a position to Monks. And here we go, that penalty here, I think, may be for what we saw between himself for Rashuti and Monks, possibly Lindsay, the time penalty that we just popped up there for 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a big penalty, but he did also nearly flip over Nathan Monks, so I would say that's fair enough to say the least. But these three battling away, this allows Rashuti just to have a safety net. He has 5 seconds to Keys behind, who's still closing in. Now Keys has a solidified P2 if he brings it to the end, but can Taufik, Johnston and Monks be within that 15-second range? Doesn't look like it at the moment by the looks of it. That gap nearly 25 seconds, so I think that these guys aren't going to benefit from that 15-second, but Nathan will be happy, happier that at least the driver that hit him will have a bit of a penalty. But now Taufik under pressure from Johnson. Monks also in the background, but he ran wide through Beckett, but he's still there in the Aston Martin, and in fact I think he's a little bit closer to Johnson than Taufik then Johnson is to Taufik, and now he's showing the nose around the outside of Stowe Corner, but he can't hang it out there when you're that late to get on the outside. But he's just trying to make his presence known, make Johnson wait, he's trying to force him into a mistake, and there is the mistake. Nathan surely is going to capitalise now. He switches back underneath. He's trying to get alongside. He can't get alongside through club corner. Johnson gets to the apex just about. Monks isn't done just yet, as here we go. He's looking for it, but he can't get alongside and ahead, as these two still continue to go at it. As here we go now, off the back of Johnson. You can go, mate.
I was just saying is that obviously Adderton, I think he's actually just managing that time in front, but it looks like Rashudi's actually closed that gap. I'm not too sure if it's about 7 seconds behind previously, but it's under 6 seconds now. And at this rate too, Rashudi may be able to hold on to third position with these with Tafik just holding up both Johnson and Monk. So it could be a little blessing for Rashudi seeing this battle between in position 4. Because they're roughly 20 seconds, I think, behind Lucas Keys. So with a 15-second penalty over Rashudi's head, he'll be happy to maybe just still finish on the podium.
Yeah, I think so, and Keys is definitely not going to be, well, he's still going to be pushing. Lucas always pushes, but he's not going to be too concerned about closing the gap fully. He won't have the time, realistically anyway. That gap's sitting about 5.9 seconds with 9 minutes to go. It's not impossible, but it's very close too, as here is a replay. This is Gobe hunting for a move on the Porsche. He goes to the outside of Stowe, sweeps around the outside, inches ahead just about here on the exit. So there's a little bit of wheel rubbing there between the two of them as they head into Vale, and that's where the replay ends, as now we're back to the usual program, as that's Nathan Monks in the meantime past Johnson. So Johnson goes late on the brakes down the inside. Nathan's been hit again in the side, and this time he doesn't flip up onto two wheels, but Nathan cannot escape the door tap by the looks of it. Johnson got overtaken and then said absolutely stuff it, I'm gonna go down the inside, and just absolutely whacked into the door of Nathan, who surely at this point is going to have to get a good panel beater to his Aston Martin's door to try and undent that thing at the rate he's going. But at the moment, Nathan's still pushing on Johnson, still trying to get past again, but it looks like he is just going to settle in once again. And Monks gets the position. Now he's trying to close into Taufik for 4th position. Easier said than done though here. 7.5 minutes remaining. So still a few laps, but that gap looming quite large, 2.3 seconds. And also, Johnson isn't done with it yet. He's still trying to put that pressure on to Nathan Monks.
He'll keep trying, that's for sure, but I think this Aston, he just seems to have that mid-corner speed in the more sweeping corners as well in the Aston, so I would assume that he'll be able to just slowly inch away a little bit and try and get on, as we were saying, latch on the back of the Ferraris. There was a car just spun around there. I think they were, again, they were lucky not to collect it, so we might see that on a replay shortly, but just on the outside as they came through, Corpse, they were lucky not to clean up the car that was just sitting there on the outside.
Yeah, and that is the same 404 Honda that was sitting and spun in front of Brady Adderton at Brooklands when he was heading into the pits. It's a really unfortunate spin there, but that's the Honda doing Honda things. And he goes onto the exit curb, goes, oh wait, there's cars coming. And definitely if someone had overshot that, that would have been a disaster. Oh my lord. That is, how close can you get? That is millimeters. Bring up the graphic that the F1 has with the close to the wall, and you would see like 0.02 millimeters. That was very scary stuff. And that's what happens when somebody parks it on what is pretty much a blind exit when you're heading into the corner. And yeah, definitely not the right time to get onto an exit curb.
It was like he was waiting for his mate. But Cole Johnson, I tell you what, he was so lucky then, and I reckon that, yeah, it was a white knuckle moment for Colbert. Well done getting through there. But look at the view we've got here as we're riding on the back of Pete Chalmers. And Gobe was giving him a hard time here. I really like the look of these Mustangs, these Milwaukee ones. They've done a really good job. Whoever's painted those ones up. Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh my word. that was nearly a repeat incident there from what happened to Nathan Monks, and Chalmers was nearly the receiver of it that time. Gobe went very, very deep. That would have been very close to hitting the back end of him, and that would have been a big bit of contact, but Gobe very good to get out of the way there and not make contact, so good reactions from him. And maybe a change of underwear needed for Chalmers, but here's the replay on the dashboard. Oh, that's so close. That is absolutely centimetres between them.
Yeah, sure is. The split red really doing its thing, as they do normally the last of the drivers of the Thermaltake Sprint Series. And they're bringing a lot of action with less than 5 minutes remaining, and this is not over. Tim really wants this position. Position the car on the outside as the Porsche is just parking it on the defensive line, as Chalmers just making sure he can try and bring this Kovacs Porsche home for a 7th position. He's got his teammate just in front of him in 6th position, well, a bit further up the road, not about 5 seconds or so, but this is going to be exciting last 4 minutes between these two, Lindsay.
Yeah, it really is. Tim really wants that position. He's really going for it. Chalmers, meanwhile, is just sitting there defending really, really well, and a Porsche versus a Mustang is really hard to defend. He has so much straight line speed compared to you. And yeah, it is really challenging when you have a Mustang up behind you, especially when you're in the Porsche, which is very, very, very slow in a straight line. It's actually, I think Lucas Keys has just jumped Raschuti. I would love to know what has happened to Raschuti. That's a big time loss to be behind Lucas.
Yeah, he's definitely made a mistake, because Lucas Keys hasn't made a huge amount of time, obviously, on Adderton. But look who's coming up to the back also of Tim. It's obviously Samuel in the, what would we say, the 3rd or 4th of the Kovacs Porsches, the 3rd of them. So that might be all that Chalmers needs, is his teammate just to come and hound the back of the Mustang of the Milwaukee Racing Mustang of Tim Gobe. But here we go. This is what will happen.
Oh no, he's just decided to take the trip that he sent Nathan on. He's gone to the outside of Brooklands, and actually, he's basically gone, I wonder what I did to that car earlier. I might have gotten a penalty for it, but I want to live it back. And he's just taken the exact line, but without the 2 wheels part. So good recreation skills there from Raschuti. But now here comes Gobe, trying the outside into Stowe corner. And will he get it done? Chalmers still defending. He has the inside. Tim still trying it. There's a door bump there between the two of them. Gobe having to take to the runoff area. And now he's still on the inside for the Vale chicane. He's alongside and he's ahead of Chalmers. And that is absolutely fantastic racing between the two of them. But now here comes Samuel, and Chalmers isn't done yet either. He's still on the back of the Mustang, but it drives away on the exit so effortlessly there, and that is fantastic stuff. In fact, Chalmers now will be having to look behind him quite quickly, because Samuel is right there as they head through Farm Curve.
Yeah, he sure is, and I tell you what, but they're still trying to get another move done on Gobe if he can, but as you could see, evidence just how good that Mustang just put the power down and just took off down the straight. But we'll just see what these two Porsches can do. There's probably a lap and a half to go. So there'll be another lap after this, I would say, for these drivers. As a leader, he's just going down the hanger straight now, which will then put him on the final lap once he goes over the starting strip.
It'll be close. Where's Brady just looking at the track map, trying to keep an eye on where he is. As well, car 95 slow off of Chapel. So these guys here that we're watching with are going to be coming past him soon. Actually, there's a big gaggle of cars that the 95 is going to have to try and negotiate as he's trying to rejoin now onto the hanger straight. So these two going at it. Samuel all over the back of Chalmers, and Gobe trying to run off into the distance. The 95 has managed to get it back onto the racing surface, and we'll get a replay of that momentarily. But yeah, here it is. It's a Lamborghini heading through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, just a little bit wide all over the curb, clips the grass, and the Lambo just goes, can't hold on smack bang into the wall. A nice bit of front end damage to go with your Lamborghini as well, and your bank account is now empty if this was real life.
Okay, the leader is on the
Yeah,
final
pretty
lap.
right. And I think you're right, Lindsay. This will be the last lap. I don't think Adderton is probably going to get over the starting line. I'm not too sure.
Really close. Or no, I don't think, or it's going to be
It's just on the
literally
starting
pixel
line. He's just going
perfect.
to take the checker
Yeah,
as we
he is
speak.
going to take the checkered flag. So Adderton, a commanding performance, just about gets the flag. Otherwise, he would have had to do one more very painfully there from the 1 second mark. So Brady Adderton, a commanding performance to take that one home. That was a stellar drive from Brady Adderton, and Lucas Keys as well take a bow. That is my driver of the day every day of the week. Every day ending with Y, that is my driver of the day. No qualifying time on the board, comes up through and gets P2. Raschuti will just about hold on to third position despite his spin, despite his penalty, and despite everything else. And Taufik will come home in fourth position from Nathan Monks as fifth. That gap about 7.5 tenths as Johnson getting P6 as Gobe gets 7th from Chalmers and Samuel, who don't swap around positions. But yeah, that is absolutely cracking stuff from Lucas Keys, and congratulations to Brady Adderton on the race victory. That was stellar stuff.
With a Mustang, with a Mercedes right there in our front view. We didn't see too many of them, but here we go. They're still coming over the line. And what a perfect opening round here at Silverstone to finish off round one for the Thermaltake Sprint Series. We've obviously had the two splits last night and finish off with split red here on Thursday night. So outstanding drives by all the drivers, and hope they've all enjoyed their first round of the series. And Thermaltake's doing a great thing as well for all the drivers actually participating in the series. For going through, the drivers may have the chance to jag a free mouse as well at the end of the series as well too, Lindsay.
It's a good incentive to be racing, and Thermaltake doing good things here for the Octane Online Racing Sprint Series as ever. And I think we've probably got one more card across the line before we can get to the final results. But yeah, it was a great race, and there is your final results, and I'm sure we'll get the class by class breakdown of it once the session ticks over in a moment's time. But yeah, that was cracking stuff from Adderton. Lucas Keys as well, absolutely fantastic. So your final race result. So we'll go silver class first, I think, as usual. Or are we going to go overall? No, I think we're going to stay in the overall section. So Brady Adderton takes it from Lucas Keys, which was a stellar drive from Lucas. Raschuti finishes off your podium places from Taufik, Monks, and Johnson is your top 6. Then you have Gobe, Chalmers, and there we go. Now we're into the silver class. So Johnson, Gobe, Chalmers is your top 3 in silver class. And then now into Pro-Am, Jusman, Rochford, and Ben Curtis. Diebols himself rounds out that podium. And then in the AM class, Rosser, Joseph Tran, and Snow round out your top 3. That is a cracking night of racing completed there. What a race that was, Neil.
Yeah, it was sensational. I really enjoyed that. It was a good one to get back into the swing of things, and look forward to next week as well. And make sure you also check out Thermaltake as well. They've got some great pre-built PCs for all types of budgets by the looks of things, and obviously some nice cooling products for your PC as well, so you never run too hot. But I reckon the temperatures will rise in somewhere in that race there tonight for some of these drivers.
Yeah, 100%, and a great race from everybody, as well as a big thanks to the camera director Benjamin Hignett behind the scenes, and thank you to all the stewards as well. And yeah, what a night of racing that was. Split red, or as it could also be known, split blood. Definitely putting on a great show tonight.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so I think that is going to wrap up all the racing action that the Thermaltake Sprint Series, brought to you by Octane Online Racing, is going to bring. So I've been Lindsay Muddle in the commentary box, and thank you, Neil, for joining me. One last big thank you to Benny Hignett and the stewards here, making it all come together, and a big thanks to the drivers for showing up as well, because without them, this couldn't happen whatsoever. So thank you for watching, everybody. But that is going to be all for OR racing action here on a Thursday night. Thank you for watching, and good night.